Are you listening? Damn.
And the ball is loose. Third and 4. He's a couple of Jackson open field. He is in.
All right, welcome to our Week 17 review here on AFC North Talk. We got a lot to talk about. Today we'll talk about my boy Ben Roethlisberger, his last ride. Talk about the Ravens and the disappointment there against the Rams. And then, of course, we have a new champion here in the AFC North. But we'll get to that here in a second. Let me introduce my co-host. I'm, of course, Tony Serino, representing the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have Sonny from SEG Sports, representing the Baltimore Ravens. Sonny, how are you?
I'm freezing right now. I'm not gonna lie, I'm freezing my ass off here.
Quincy, representing the Cleveland Browns. Quincy, how are you?
What do you think I'm doing, Tony?
Good?
Just,
Great?
You know, looking forward to the future, as always.
It's always next year. There's always next year. There's always next year for all of us because we have a new champion in the AFC North. Ace Boogie. Where are you at?
And his name is John C.
Uh-oh. He's looking the pictures down behind him.
Uh-oh. It's a lot of excitement in Cincinnati right now. Ace, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, bros. How you guys doing?
Doing well. Doing well.
We turning up.
Absolutely. Listen, let's start there. I know we're going to get we got a ton of super chats coming in already. So let's just start with the super chats because they're going to come in fast and furious today. We know there's a lot of Bengals fans in chat today. We're going to get through all your super chats. If you want to make your voice heard on today's show, you can leave a super chat. We guarantee we will read your super chats on air, just like Jay Wimsat with a $5 super chat says, I just want you all to say Joe Burr out loud. There you go. Done. All right, we got Terrell Williams here. $5 super chat. Appreciate it. Says Burrow was rocking the Migos shirt. Ace is the GOAT.
Yes, thank you to Joe Burrow. I appreciate that. The Migos shirt went crazy. It's still going crazy right now.
Yeah, it was on the Red Zone Network as well. The NFL Network showed a picture of Joe Burrow wearing the Migos shirt. Pretty cool. All right. Joshua Matter, $5 super chat says, we have comeback player of the year, rookie of the year, maybe coach of the year, and now the AFC North, baby, Who Dey. Comeback player of the year, Joe Burrow, lock it up, right?
Yeah.
No, not Dak. He passed Dak this week.
Yeah, I think he passed Dak. I think he's definitely, going to get that. And then you talk about what Zach Taylor has done. He's got to be in there. His name has got to be in there in the conversation for coach of the year for sure.
I don't know how he's not coach of the year.
Yeah, no, and this is so silly. So a lot of the talk has been that it's going to go to LaFleur, but it's going to be more of a career award for LaFleur because LaFleur is going to be the first coach now to have coached a team to 13 wins 3 years in a row.
He has Aaron Rodgers. You don't get coach of the year when you have Aaron Rodgers.
I'm with you on this, and I also don't think coach of the year should be any sort of legacy award. You get it for the coaching job you did that year.
That year. I agree.
Yeah.
And you have Aaron, bro. You inherit, like, it's not like with Zach Taylor. Oh, he came with Joe Burrow, like a rookie Joe Burrow, where it was a little bit uncertain. You inherited the cheat code, bro. Ain't no coaching necessary. To Aaron Rodgers coach you. What do you mean, coach of the year? Aaron Rodgers should get coach of the year, not Matt LaFleur. And it should be Zach Taylor. But
it should be Zach Taylor. Yeah,
talking about some damn Matt LaFleur. Like, if Matt LaFleur got fired tomorrow, nobody would be jumping their drawers, firing their coach to hire him.
Yeah. Daniel, $2 super chat says, Q, you sure Baker is better than Keenum?
Well, we're gonna find out this week, right?
Yeah, we're gonna get it.
MIA, bro.
What about Mullins? You know, Mullins wasn't. I didn't hate Mullins. I'll be honest.
I'm not looking forward to watching these two barely be able to throw a football on Sunday. Like, you know what I mean?
Captain Fierce with a $2 super chat says Bengals won the division by default. I'm going to respectfully disagree with you on that one, Captain. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs. That's not a default position.
That's
so, yeah. All right, let's start there. We got to start at the top here. Let's start with, as they says there, the new king of the North, Joe Burrow. The Cincinnati Bengals beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Ace, let's start with you. Give me your thoughts on the win.
Bro, like I said when we went into this last week, I have been on here excited about the team, but I said that they needed a game to really make a statement for me to kind of buy into the Super Bowl hype, right? And that was what this game really was, especially when you're going against an elite team like the Kansas City Chiefs. I talked about that Packers game. I felt like that was one where we went toe-to-toe with them, but we didn't pull out the victory, right? And then this one, it literally was crazy because I'm at Disney World with my wife, and I get, blown up. And I'm like, hold on. I'm sending them the voicemail. I'm like, bro, I'm with my wife. This is her birthday weekend. I can't talk right now. He immediately calls me back again. And so then I pick up. I'm like, this has to be something crazy. My phone is going off, and Joey B is rocking the Migos tee. And I feel like that set the tone, right? Because you already know with the Kansas City Chiefs, they have the weapons, Travis Kelce. You talk about Tyreek Hill, Pat Mahomes. Like, you have to bring your guys and go to war with the team like the Kansas City Chiefs. They got Andy Reid. And so I felt like that was a statement that he made early. Like, okay, we're about to throw down. And I think initially when this game happened, the Chiefs ended up getting up early, right? At first, the Bengals forced a 3-and-out, but then the Chiefs get up early. And at one point, we're down by 2 scores. And I was just sitting there like, we're going to have to answer this bell. And I talked about that last week. You got to be able to answer the bell, especially against the Chiefs, because this is an offense that can really take off on you. And Jamar Chase, we joke about it, Tony, like dial up the 82-yard Jamar Chase play. There were just so many of those in this game, the 72-yard touchdown. And it seemed like every time they needed one, Jamar Chase just really answered that bell. We even talk about the 3rd and 27. And the fact that Spags just refused in this game to double Jamar Chase, I feel like was insane. Like, there's no way that you cannot double this guy and give him opportunities over the top. And so the fact that they were able to do that and catch up, I think definitely boded well for this offense. But the biggest thing was, the defense was getting taken advantage of early on in the game, right? And so I was like, man, we're going to have to adjust to this offense. And it just seemed like those guys were catching everything. Like, anytime you would get close to forcing a 3rd down or forcing a punt, it was just like, here comes some other guy that just makes a catch, and Pat Mahomes finds a guy. And so in the second half, I got to take my hat off to the defense. Only allowing 3 points to this Kansas City offense in the second half was amazing. And they also had some missed opportunities, right? They had a couple of interceptions that they dropped from Pat Mahomes, but they were able to do things, I think, defensively that helped put this offense back into the game. But Jamar Chase, man, this dude is insane. For him to not only break the single-season rookie record, receiving record in this game at 16 games, right? Because now we have the 17th.
Yep.
Was just amazing. I mean, to see him do that, to see the Migos get rolling, to see these guys go out there and say, we can't leave it up to week 18 because quiet as kept, as I think Pac-Man Jones said this, I don't think the Bengals wanted to go into week 18 against a team that they've struggled with the Browns, with all of that on the line. They had to go out there and get it now. They came out there, and I feel like they stamped it. They went out there, went toe-to-toe with Pat Mahomes, made the right call. I feel like at the end of the game, you don't want to give the ball back to Pat Mahomes at all whatsoever. And a lot of people are talking about the flags on the play. There's a tweet that's going around right now that shows that it was clearly some contact there on a couple of those plays, right? But I like the call by Zach Taylor. Go ahead and milk the clock out. Do not give a GOAT like Pat Mahomes the ball back and any opportunity to change the outcome of that game. That's what they did. I think Zach Taylor deserves a ton of credit. I think that the players deserve a ton of credit. And Joey B, to go back-to-back games with 400-plus yards. Like, he almost threw for 1,000 yards in 2 games. Like, that is insane. And to throw all of those touchdowns in that span was just insane. And the way that they came out of here, came into the game with swagger, left the game with swagger. And the fact that these guys, I feel amazing for guys like Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon, who went through the Marvin Lewis years, and CJ Uzomah, and for them to have this moment and be able to relish in it. But I also hear them say, this job isn't finished. So for them, kudos to them, especially because this hasn't been a time where we've won 3 straight since 2015. Like the Bengals have won 2 straight, but they have never won 3 straight since 2015. For them to do that with the division on the line at home against a team like Pat Mahomes, to hold Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce for the most part in check compared to what those guys can do. I was extremely impressed with that in this game by the defense, the offense, just the entire team. So it was just a great moment for the city of Cincinnati, and it's a very exciting time to be alive as a Bengals fan.
Indeed. All right, we got some super chats here to get to. Let's get through those before we get to the thoughts of my co-host on this game. Sam here with a $2 super chat says, isn't this supposed to be an all Bengals show? Not quite all Bengals. It's going to be mostly Bengals today, let's be honest. And I think a lot of you are going to make your voices heard on the show and are doing so right now, just like Nova Stone here with a $2 super chat, who says, Rodgers was 24, 23, and 1 before LaFleur. Stop. He's not Brady. Nova Stone coming in to defend his boy. I like
you're
that.
muted. You're muted, Q.
Oh, yeah, Q, you're muted.
Yeah, Q, you're on mute.
This is an incredibly disingenuous stat, though, brought up here, because it's like, yeah, he's 23. When are you deciding not to count? Before he won the Super Bowl? Like, you know what I mean? Like, where are we counting before LaFleur? Because before LaFleur, he was actually like 157, 100 wins, 57 losses or whatever. We know Aaron Rodgers good. This is not a threat to Tom Brady. I don't know how Tom Brady got roped into this.
Nova Stone always brings Tom Brady. Let's be honest.
No. Nova Stone Nova Stone is a Brady guy.
Yeah.
It's a Brady guy. I don't know
if I get it. You a Brady fan, but damn, anytime somebody say a quarterback good, don't mean we out here slighting Tom Brady.
Let's move on here. We got Joe with a $5 super chat. Says, thank you all for covering this season. What a wild one. #Houday. Appreciate you guys all watching. We've had some pretty good subscriber growth this year, so appreciate everybody sticking with us. We love doing the show. We will continue doing this into 2020. All right, we are now doing this in 2022. Here we are.
By the way, I'm on record. I hate the 17th game now.
Like, yeah. I also
anticlimactic. You know what I mean? This week would have been a great ending for the season for everybody. Oh, well, for almost everybody. I mean, at this point, like, do you think I want to trot my corpse out here?
One more ride. One last ride. All right. Luke here with a $2 super chat says, if TJ Watt doesn't win Defensive Player of the Year, scrap the award. Luke, I don't think you have much to worry about here. He's a sack away from tying the record.
Baker should win Defensive Player of the Year.
And Baltimore doesn't present the best O-line, so
no. TJ Watt better. When TJ Watt was talking to him after that batted pass where he just waited there, was like, I know what Baker's gonna do right here. Yeah. He should say, hey man, when I win Defensive Player of the Award, I'm gonna mention you in my speech. Like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna give you credit.
Appreciate Baker.
Because without you, this is not possible. You know, standing in the pocket still, giving me 4 sacks. You know what I mean? Not getting rid of the ball quick enough. He had 3 open options on one play. Just let TJ Watt hit him for no reason.
Well, listen, when Baker started doing the spin move to get away from Watt at the end of the game for no reason, that was classic. Love that.
That was great.
Nova Stone here with a $2 super chat says, LOL at Chiefs complaining about refs getting all the calls. I have to say, as someone who was watching this game, obviously I was cheering for the Chiefs. I think my co-host here, Quincy and Sonny, were probably also cheering for the Chiefs because we all needed the Chiefs to win to stay alive in this division. The lamest thing I kept hearing on Twitter was that, the refs are doing this for the Bengals. How many times have you been over this?
When has the league ever been accused of doing something to help the Cincinnati Bengals? Like that makes there's no sense in that argument.
No, I mean, clearly the NFL conspired against Patrick Mahomes to be the number 1 seed in the AFC. They wanted Tennessee to be the number 1 seed for sure. Yeah, definitely that. I mean, how many times do we have to go over this? Officiating in the NFL is universally bad. There are going to be bad calls. Were there bad calls in that game that I thought, hey, maybe this little ticky-tack? Sure. But they were on both sides as well. I mean, again, I don't think that was a game that was so one-sided that you're saying that those calls cost anyone the game. And it's the NFL right now. Officiating is bad across the board.
And that's Kansas City's own fault at the end of the game for what happened to them. Because we'll talk about it when I get to them. But that was stupid what they were doing there.
The Jamar Chase 72-yard after the Jamar Chase 72-yard catch and run.
There were so many things in that last drive.
The fact that he was still ever in one-on-one coverage ever again in that entire game is not on the refs. Sorry, I'm not putting that one on the refs. Ridiculous. Yep. All right. Sam Turner, $2 super chat says, y'all's AFC North QB rankings aged like unpasteurized milk. No doubt about it. That's one of the cold. We had a hot take show.
Maybe if you turn it upside down, it still don't look good. You know,
we got to make it somewhere. We did a hot take show right before the season. We also did a cold take show. That's called the quarterback ranking show, which was about the coldest takes we've ever had here on the show, other than Ace had him locked in. All right, Ira here, $2 super chat says, look at Q's eyes. Looks like he's about to cry. I don't know that we're going that far.
I think people are projected there.
Yeah, I
don't cry about football.
Might have teared up a little bit at the end of that game last night, I'll be honest. The Blue Libra $5 super chat says, proud of this Bengals team. And it was great to hear Boomer say that unlike the 2015 team, this team is built to make some noise in the playoffs. They're certainly going to get their chance, and they certainly, in an offense-driven league right now,
I don't think there's a single wild card team they won't beat or they couldn't beat.
The worst matchup for them, I think, is New England because it's the Bill Belichick effect in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. New England's a tough one, but Buffalo, I feel like if they go up against them, but I don't think they're going to match up with Buffalo because right now they're the 3 seed, right?
Buffalo
right now is
like Indy or
Indy is for the most part,
or Miami or whatever.
Raiders.
Listen, as Sonny and I will both tell you this. Love the Jaguars this weekend. Love the Jaguars.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Jaguars in a big upset on Sunday. Look for that one. Yeah.
Trevor if the Jaguars win, it's the only way we can make it, Tony.
Yeah.
I just assume we're not gonna make it. So
we'll talk about those scenarios on the preview show that we do later this week because there's a hilarious thing that could happen where Sunday Night Football is literally a game where both teams just take a knee every single play, and I'm not ruling that out that could happen.
Who's the Sunday Night Football
crazy?
Chargers Raiders.
There's
a scenario that could play out where they both make it in if they tie. It will be losers eliminated, but if they tie, they both make it.
What do you do if you're the lead? You have to have that game be played earlier, so they don't.
Can't. They already changed it to Sunday night.
Yeah, they already changed it for them to be prime time.
That would be horrible if they just really went let's just tie.
They just started Sunday Night Football on national TV elimination game.
Take the under, guys.
Wait. Is it the situation where they won't get in if they win individually or only
one of them is guaranteed to be eliminated if one of them wins.
Oh, okay,
they should both agree to tie because then they're both guaranteed to make it in. Yeah
nobody's gonna do that.
Game theory. All right, Mr. Whisper here with a $5 super chat says, Ace, why do you think Prince is starting over Fred? He's getting close to Bobby Hart over there. Ooh.
I have to say the same thing. I mean, I feel like Fred Johnson has definitely played better at the right tackle position. It really didn't make sense to me why my guy Fred was benched, but I am not the coach. Apparently there is some kind of reason there. I think that Frank Pollock is going with that, but I would not mind them taking a look at Fred for sure because anytime your name is mentioned with Bobby Hart in the Bengals community, we know that is not good. The only thing worse than probably Bobby Hart, Cedric Ogbuehi. So that is not good company to be in.
All right, we got another one here. Nova Stone, $2 super chat says, Tomlin and Harbaugh, the real coach of the year with their rosters.
Nah.
I mean, look,
every year there's somebody who gets that argument and hey man, they had the roughest ride and they made the most. The guy who makes the most of it never wins awards.
To be fair, I will say this. I remember the year that Harbaugh won it 2 years ago. I did say if the Steelers make the playoffs, give it to Tomlin. That was the year without Big Ben.
You'd had to, I think for Harbaugh or Tomlin to win it, they would have had to have made the playoffs. And I mean, I get, both still could, right? I mean, hey, listen.
Yeah. But it would be go
Trevor Lawrence.
You go from. By the way, we need to talk about this for the Bengals. How important was it that they did take Jamar Chase in the draft
over Penai?
Yeah, that's one of the that them, and also how critical it was ultimately that Joe Burrow gets hurt, does not play for the rest of that season. That dramatically affects their win-loss record. Do they even have the opportunity to get Jamar Chase without that? Not saying they're not going to be a good team without Jamar Chase, but I mean, Jamar Chase been a difference.
Jamar Chase definitely has been a difference.
Yeah, he's been
Jamar Chase is just all of a sudden
like every moment you're like, oh, this is where the Bengals are going to do the thing where like Jamar Chase does something. Right?
Well, it looked like Jamar was hitting the rookie wall, right? I mean, it looked very clearly like he had a big opening of the year, and then he had that large stretch where it was like, two catches, 40 yards a game, right? Which is not bad, but it was just, he wasn't putting up the insane numbers he was early in the year. Then these last 2 weeks, I mean, my goodness.
The crazy part about that is we had Chase's dad on the show, and he said that this was similar to what happened with him at LSU with those three receivers with Justin Jefferson. Chase takes off early, and then teams start to lock in on Chase, double teams, try to take him away, and then it opens up guys like T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd to really take advantage, and then it ends up swinging back to Chase because now teams don't want to double team him, so it's just a wild, crazy cycle.
Yeah,
but Chase
whatever wall it was that Jamar Chase had hit, he hurdled over it.
Oh yeah, no,
he got over it.
Yeah, he climbed over it for sure.
He climbed over it, got open, got a first down, and scored.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. All right, Mr. Mississippi, $2 super chat here says Nova Stone not rocking with the Joey B Brady comps. I actually think the Joey B Brady comps are the most, like, if you're going to compare Joe Burrow to another quarterback, and I'm not saying this because he's as good as Brady, but you know what I'm saying? Like, just from a kind of, what does he do out there? What makes him good?
Play-wise.
Yeah.
I made this comp actually early on because I was like, all right, let's just take the Super Bowl rings out of Tom Brady. Let's just talk about, not the strongest arm, right? Not the strongest arm. Pinpoint accuracy on short to intermediate throws, a guy that just has energy where he's, headbutting his lineman. Like, that is Joe Burrow, to have the confidence and stuff like that. I think that is Joe Burrow. When you talk about the moxie and just the personality of how he is when you talk about Brady. But no, I'm not going to say that he's like Aaron Rodgers because physically they have different kind of skill sets, right? But I think that his skill set does match with Brady. But I think when you say Tom Brady, obviously he's the GOAT. So people are going to be like, what?
I always felt like coming out of college, his comp should have been more like Deshaun Watson. I feel
you said that with Deshaun Watson, because he can't run. Like, Brady can't run. That is true.
Yeah, and Nova, I'm just gonna say this because I know you're a Brady fan. I mean, Joe Burrow is better than Aaron Rodgers. Than Tom Brady was in his second year.
That's what I was gonna say. If you think about Tom Brady, all his career minus the Randy Moss time, he was all underneath, right? Underneath,
it was like until 04 until Tom Brady was like actually Tom Brady.
Right, but Joe Burrow, year 2, he's pushing the ball. We talk about.
Well, he does have Jamar Chase. I mean, it wasn't like Brady
was playing with Jamar early Chase. Though. Tom Brady was surrounded with dudes early, and then
like David Branch.
Teams. He had a defense. He had a defensive back that had 1,000 yards that was playing slot receiver for
Troy Brown.
No, Troy Brown was a wide receiver who played corner. You got to reverse. Troy Brown was like a slot receiver who
had a wide receiver so talented he played
Patriots, by the way. My God. Did I hate the Patriots? All right, moving on here. Professor Chaos.
Get that one back.
Jeepers. That team, 2001, they beat the Steelers in the AFC Championship game that year. Cordell threw 3 picks.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Blocked a field goal. What a stupid ass game. Brady got hurt. Bledsoe came in. My God. Anyway, Professor Chaos here. $5 super chat. Thank you. I'm gonna go to sleep. Wake me up on draft night.
We still gotta do free agency.
How'd the Malik Willis tape turn out, by the way?
It was not good. I watched the Syracuse tape because his Ole Miss one was awful, and I was like, well, maybe the Syracuse one would be better. I actually preferred the Ole Miss tape. I was like, why weren't people talking about how bad the Syracuse tape was?
The Syracuse tape's not great, but man, the Ole Miss tape is just
the Ole Miss tape gets better in the second half if you just look at him as like, well, he can run, so you'll just run him for the first year. I just want to see if he can run.
Yeah,
and that's why I looked at him for after that first half because I was like, he's not throwing in the NFL in the first year. He's not going to be there.
Mike Gibson here, $2 super chat says Chase had more receiving yards than Mahomes had passing yards. Is that true?
Yeah, I believe so. He had 266.
Yeah, he had like 320.
How many Pat Mahomes had?
Jamar had 260 something.
Pat didn't
have 300. I had 259.
Oh, he only had 259.
Jamar had 266.
Oh, that's true. They ran the ball a little bit. Yeah. Wow. How about that?
Wow, good job.
Tristan, $5 super chat says Bengals better than the Browns 2.0 and Pittsburgh for the division. Congrats to Ace and Who They Nation. Who do you guys think Cleveland can acquire if they decide to move on from Baker?
There's veterans out there, right? It's how much you're willing to spend, meaning draft capital and all of that.
I think this conversation gets a lot more interesting after the playoffs because
I agree.
Given you can get some performances in the playoffs, like, if Matt Stafford throws like 2 pick sixes again in the playoffs, he ain't going to be there next year. So then he's going to become available. Who knows what the Kirk Cousins situation is going to be. Like there's going to be guys who wiggle loose here later on that are going to become a factor because I just don't think Baker's playing another game in Cleveland.
If there was one that I would say, just as a Bengals fan, that would scare me, if the Browns were able to get him, man, we got to see the legal stuff play out. Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson went to the Browns, that I think is like the scariest one for me at least, is Deshaun Watson.
Aren't the two like most obvious plug and plays though? Jimmy Garoppolo and Kirk Cousins. I mean, I'm not. Look, Jimmy G's coming. Jimmy G's coming available because they're going to move on to Trey Lance. Cousins probably not because he's been good enough this year that they probably keep him. But those are the two.
Cousins
into a Stefanski offense.
Top
just
5 cap hit though next year. I don't know how that affects the math on what they want to do with him. Again, if you have a bad playoff with him again, and
are they making the playoffs? Yeah, I don't think
did
they're
they
making
make the playoffs with him. I felt like I don't know anybody can.
Kirk, you're talking about Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, Vikings.
No, I think
so they're not even in the playoffs with them.
I
don't know. I feel like they might look at that situation and just be like, you know what, we paying all this money for what? He's playing good.
I see in the future Steelers and Browns fighting for Matt Ryan.
Oh, love it, love it, Matty Ice, my dog. Let's go.
Yeah,
I can't do that today. Where it's a special day for Ben Roethlisberger. No Matt Ryan jokes today. I apologize for that, Steeler Nation. Play under review. $2 super chats here says got the AFC North talk on the 60-inch while sick. Hashtag Who Day. There you go. Big screen for a big win for your Cincinnati Bengals over Kansas City Chiefs. All right, I think we got some more here. $5.
There's a question. A couple comments.
I see it.
Okay.
I see it. So we have Father Dismas here with a $5 super chat, and we have that chat here. We'd like to thank the Browns coaching staff for gifting Big Ben and Watt this beautiful send-off, says the Pittsburgh Steelers. Why didn't they run on Pittsburgh Steelers for life? And I was confused. As I tweeted this in the first quarter of last night's game, I said I'm a big fan of Kevin Stefanski and his work. Love everything he's doing out there. Quincy, I went on your show, what was it, on Saturday, and said I would do the Tennessee Titans in the playoffs game plan, like just throw maybe like 6 or 7 times, and every other play is a run. I also was shocked that they didn't run the ball.
This is what I was talking about all week. I knew logically that's how they had to play the game to win. I knew that Baker should not have over 20 pass attempts, but I would not lie to you and act like I was surprised that they did the exact opposite, because it's honestly what they've been this entire year. And it multiplies on itself because it's in Pittsburgh, and just Browns history, the weirdest, most inexplicable stuff. Where does it go down? Pittsburgh, positive and negative, right? It's one playoff win and everything else that done happened there. And the fact that it was Ben's last game, a charged up Heinz Field, I knew something stupid was going to go down. I just didn't expect the stupid to go for 2.5 hours and 45 passing attempts.
It was, I don't know if you guys watched the Manning cast last night. It was hilarious. Peyton was just losing his mind every time Nick Chubb was out of the game. Absolutely hilarious. Zion here, $2 super chat says, who do y'all think is the Bengals' biggest problem? I'm assuming he means in the playoffs and not on the team.
I think the Bengals match up well with every team right now in the AFC.
Yeah, I mean,
the Titans, because the Titans can't really put up points in a hurry like the Bengals can.
The problem with the Titans, if Henry comes back healthy, right?
Yeah.
So and I think the Titans want to stay first because that bye week might let them have Henry in that first playoff game.
Is there
I would welcome Henry just because our defense is good against the run. I think it's still the Chiefs. I think even though we came out, with this one, this was a game where you got lucky that the impact of Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce wasn't there. With the Titans, like we beat them last year when we weren't really a good team. Like Derrick Henry still was amazing in that game. But if you can make them one-dimensional and take A.J. Brown away and just concentrate on the run, then I like my chances more against Ryan Tannehill than Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and those guys.
What about the Patriots? Because Bill Belichick could have used that offense.
That defense. That defense.
Patriots from a Bill Belichick perspective, not really from a what's Mac Jones perspective.
Yeah, Mac Jones versus
not Mac Jones, but I wouldn't sleep on Mac Jones, but not necessarily Mac Jones, but I'm more on a Matthew Judon, like that defensive front and the ability to blitz and send those DBs. It's something that does wreak havoc on offensive lines.
No, I agree. I think Bill Belichick, and with him being a defensive guru and definitely making those calls and things that he could throw at Joe Burrow in that game, definitely Bill Belichick just from a coaching perspective, because Bill is the GOAT. The only thing that would be in our favor is that it would be us playing at home. You don't want to go to Foxborough and play Bill Belichick in any kind of playoff game.
Yeah. I think for me, like you guys pointed both out, I think the Patriots, just because of the Belichick and that defense and his way to scheme around things, he is the GOAT for a reason. I think that obviously I think would be an issue for the Bengals. The rematch against Kansas City is going to be in Kansas City, and I just think any road game for this team, right? You're playing on the road in front of opposing fans in the playoffs. I think it's going to be tough for a young team, but look, this Bengals team is playing as good as anybody, right? We talk about getting hot at the right time. I think they're pretty hot right now, and it's the right time to be doing so. And when you have an offense this good, you can beat anybody, right? I mean, this is an offense-driven league. When you're if you can put up 30, you're going to give yourself a chance. And this Bengals team is certainly capable of putting up 30 at a moment's notice. So, all right, let's get on here. We got a $20 super chat. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Russ here, $20. Best show on YouTube, hands down. Respect for you all. Are we ready to admit Burrow is the best quarterback in the division?
I will say this. This year he is. No, I would say this. This year he played the best in the division.
Yeah, well, he played better than Lamar this year for sure.
Yeah, I'll say he played better than Lamar this year. I don't know, but we'll see. I have a healthy fear of Lamar Jackson. I went on a whole thing where I was like, I don't believe in Lamar, all this garbage, and then Lamar won like the MVP and almost won 2 times.
Yeah, I was here too for both.
We're away from the Lamar mania. I know I've gotten some interesting comments about Lamar Jackson the last few weeks. People are telling me that he's like done. They figured him out. Man, how quickly we forget. We're separated from it, but Joe Burrow's had a hell of a year. He's been the best quarterback in the North this year. Don't take nothing.
I'll put it this way, because like my co-host, yes, Burrow's played better than Lamar this year. Am I ready to say that he is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson overall? I'll say it this way, to go back to an old conversation we had on this show. Certainly in the neighborhood. Certainly in the neighborhood. Yes.
We need to do that.
I don't think
they're like neighbors at this point.
But
I mean, it's always going to be a tough one, and I think that this is going to be a debate for a while. Yeah. I got to rock with my guy, Joey B, but they're two different types of quarterbacks, right? They do two different things. Lamar's definitely got the MVP right now. Joe Burrow, you have to see what he does in the playoffs, I think, to even have that conversation. I think Joe should really be a dark horse in the MVP conversation this season based off of what he's done. But I think that those guys are clearly at the top of the division. I think you could flip a coin and go either way. Obviously, I'm rocking with my guy, but you guys already know, I have a ton of respect for Lamar Jackson before he was a Raven at LSU and what he's done. But you guys know right now, I'm taking Joey B.
Who is the MVP right now?
Rodgers.
Rodgers.
Yeah,
Rodgers, Tom Brady. I feel like Burrow should be in there too. Like we already know that Rodgers and Brady are.
Well, this is a very boring year for
like
NFL
they just kind of
awards.
trade it every other year. It's like, you have it. No, you can have
it.
Dude,
Brady's 44 and he's going to lead the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns.
Yeah,
that's insane.
It's Tom Brady.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so
it might be Tom Brady, you're right?
Yeah, well, no, I think it's gonna be Rodgers, but I mean, it's just Brady.
The thing with Tom Brady is like, I know he's great, and I know he's the greatest of all time, and I know he's like, there's no doubt in that, right?
And LeBron.
It's just I'm never motivated to go out my way to watch Tom Brady, so I'm like never in these hives for him to go win the MVP. But I guess you can always give it to Tom Brady, but he's just, I just don't love watching him play.
All right, we're going to get to the rest. We have a ton more super chats to get to. This show is going to be like 9 hours long, and we knew that was going to happen. Before we get to more of your super chats, though, want to let you guys know about our sponsor for today, Manscaped. Cheers to 2022 and resolutions you can actually keep. How about having clean and shiny balls all year round? Our sponsor at Manscaped are here to save your balls this year. I'll shave them too. and make the ball drop into 2022 the cleanest and sexiest ever. Set your first New Year's resolution with good intentions and join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com, use the code AFC North Talk. AFC North Talk, all one word right there at the bottom of your screen for 20% off and free shipping. It's new year, new me with the global leaders in below the waist grooming. This year, take your package to the next level with their Performance Package 4.0 and brand new ultra premium body wash. Inside the Performance Package 4.0, you'll find the Signature Lawnmower 4.0. This electric trimmer is designed to trim hair on loose skin. The advanced skin-safe technologies reduces cuts and nicks on your delicate nuts. It also comes equipped with a 4,000K LED spotlight that will shine a light into the promised land the 2022 looks to be. A grooming routine isn't complete without applying the Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver before showing off your 2022 self. These unique formulations take care of the smelliest parts of your body and are a big boost to your confidence into the new year. And to complete the set, Manscaped threw in their Shed travel bag and anti-chafing boxer briefs as free gifts to keep all your goodies stored comfortably. Kick discomfort and poor hygiene to the curb this year and use the best tools for the job. Whether your resolution is to work out more or travel to new places, be sure to travel to manscaped.com to get our exclusive offer, 20% off and free shipping, but you have to use our promo code AFC North Talk. Cheers to new balls in 2022. All right. And with that, let's get to more of your super chats here because we got quite a few to get through. Autumn, $5 super chat says, personally, I'd have Vrabel as coach of the year. I think his work with such a heavily battered team is more impressive than what Zach's done. Still a Bengals fan. Vrabel's an interesting one.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's just nobody thinks the Titans are actually good.
That's my problem. Is I look at the Titans and they're going to be the 1 seed, and it's so perfect for the AFC that the Titans are going to be the 1 seed because are they the
this like who won the 1 seed in the NBA a couple years ago? It was like nobody really believed. It was like what it was like the Jazz had the 1 seed. It's like they're gonna lose. To
you might be right, but the problem is it's a regular season award, right? And they lost Henry early in the year, right? Yeah, and they have been winning just enough. Yes.
I think the Bengals should win it, and they're probably going to win it. One, they're a better story. They came from the 4th pick of the draft to first place and looking like one of the teams that could actually do something in the playoffs. And I don't know. The Titans are like they're in that realm of like good enough that they just hit a lot of people's blind spots. So like nobody's really impressed with what they're doing here because they're 1 seed, but they're 1 seed by default. They're not really having a better year than they had last year. But they had injuries.
I think that division helps them. Something to say about the division.
They're always pretty good too. Yeah, and definitely like you said too, Sonny. That division
for the record,
not looking too
you
good.
Take Jaguars and Texans. Come on, those are 2 teams in the top 5 picks. That's 4 games there. That helps.
Yeah, and I don't know if they got to play the Colts early. But remember, the Colts started this year very, very slowly. It's why that they're still a roster or a playoff bubble team right now. Because they started like 1-4 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, they played them early once, and then they played them when the Colts were actually playing better, and they beat the Colts again.
Yeah. All right, Neutral Chaos, $5 super chat. Really appreciate everybody writing in today. Here's hoping the coaching staff does the right thing and sits the starters for the final game. Ace, I was looking at this. The Bengals still, I know it's an outside chance, but the Bengals still do have an outside chance at the number 1 overall. I mean, they could still get a bye in the.
Yeah, I think on this one, it gets interesting, right? Like, I could see them monitoring those other games because unfortunately they all are around 1 o'clock on those games, right? The other ones that really matter. So I could see them, potentially starting out with the starters, seeing how those games are going. And if, they aren't going in their favor, pulling the starters, but with Joe having the kind of knee twist at the end of the game, do you, subject him or Chase to that? I don't know. I don't know if you do that. Like, we'll be able to tell, I think, tomorrow once they have practice and how it goes later this week. If Joey B doesn't practice, I think they throw Brandon Allen in there and still, especially with Baker being out, because that's major, right? So you have 2 backup quarterbacks going at it. I think that you still could possibly win that game, but we'll have to see.
Let me say this too.
Play Joe Burrow in that game.
Let me say this also. Forget about the 1 seed, in my opinion. Is the Kansas City Chiefs? You want to face them again? in Cincinnati, right? That was big. Because people don't see how big the home field is. And the home field is huge in the NFL. People just like, oh yeah, we beat KC. Yeah, that's a big win. But also there's a factor playing in Cincinnati. I mean, Baltimore beat the Chiefs as well in Baltimore. That was their first game with Lamar in Baltimore against the Chiefs. So I think it's big if you can play them at home. So if Kansas City, I think they play the Broncos, but the Broncos always play them tough. Yeah. So if the Broncos can sneak, and also think about this, the Chiefs has 2 O-lines injured. They probably won't play. So Broncos defense have been playing better. So if the Broncos can sneak that game, and since he can win, and I agree here with Ace, they might not need Joey B to beat the Browns. We'll see. But if they can just flipping again, forget about the ones, just flipping to the second seed and having Cincinnati go to third, just right there, that can be huge.
Right, and somebody made a correction. It looks like the Chiefs game is actually on Saturday, so they will be able to see before Sunday.
Yeah, and Browns might actually come out and play better this week just because, they might be excited not to have somebody on the field this week. Like it might be it might be one of those games like after you fire your coach, you know what I mean? Like
Ewing effect.
Everybody want to hustle.
I will say, based on last night's performance, I'll just say that the Browns had clearly asked for the check. Before that game started, there was a check.
People were asking me, does this game affect the future of Baker Mayfield? And I say, by the tone of everybody in that game before that game started, it had seemed like that decision had been made weeks ago.
Yeah. Terrence here, $2 super chat says, Ben taking the game ball from Najee and TJ. No. I don't think Najee or TJ. I don't think they wanted the game ball.
Yeah.
If you watched into that game last night,
not iconic, Ben. No.
Yeah.
Wait, wouldn't it have been awkward though if TJ would have broken the sack record?
Oh yeah,
the end of the game, and Ben's like, "Where's my ball?"
Gonna need that game ball though. Sorry, TJ. I know that's historic and everything, but it's my last home game, so
they're gonna be like, "Over my dead body."
By the way, that when they were extending that, well, we'll talk about the Steelers later. Nemo, $1 super chat here. I have it. Where was it? I just had. Here we go. Lamar still the better quarterback. I'm assuming he means right now. Look, it's tough. Like I said, in the same neighborhood. In the same neighborhood.
Summer to argue about this.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This will be for y'all whole summer arguing about. Y'all already hate each other. Y'all been beeping all year. Ravens got swept. Y'all gonna be arguing about that all summer, man.
I agree.
Nova Stone
Scott just threw some gasoline on that whole thing.
And there's no other quarterbacks in this conversation to dilute it anymore. I mean, y'all got nothing but each other to focus on. Y'all got no strays to hit. Like y'all got each other.
Have at it. Me and Q will be watching film of
these quarterback rankings will be so much easier for us this
year. That's true. Quarterback ranking this year is gonna be
3 and 4 though.
3 and 4. Just Well, we'll see who they're gonna be.
We're gonna see. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Mason versus
one of us
Baker.
gets like Aaron Rodgers or something like that, but I doubt it.
If it was just Mason versus Baker, that would actually be cute. That would be fun. Then we would have an argument. Nova Stone, $2 super chat. Burrow, no comp to Brady. He's the number 1 pick, never an underdog. Okay.
See, all you're telling me is that Tom Brady much worse in college than Joe Burrow, which makes me feel like Joe Burrow at this point in his career better.
Number 1 pick, but he did go to the Bengals franchise, so no one thought that he could. He's kind of underdog because nobody expected him to have.
Let's not sleep on the fact that he got slept on by Ohio State. They put Haskins over him, had to transfer to get his shot, had that big year at LSU. What was everybody saying about him? Oh, well, he sucked that first year at LSU.
He did, and he was freaking. People forget how bad he was. I went on when I was doing when I was hosting Locked On Steelers, and I was talking about I forget some receiver, someone that was coming out. Oh, maybe it was Darius Geis. I remember saying like. Whoever this kid Joe Burrow is at quarterback that LSU has, he sucks. And the fact that Geis had such a big year that year is a testament to Geis because they had such a shit quarterback. Right, had all this whole thing. Like his turnaround year over year because he was bad. I mean, whatever that was, his junior, sophomore year, whatever it was. I mean, he was bad that year. His turnaround that he had
that year.
His turnaround was, I feel like, when he played UCF, ironically, Tony.
In that bowl game. Yeah.
I was wondering, he almost lost to one of those ACC schools. Well, AAC school.
AAC, yeah. Dakota, here, $5 super chat says, official AFC North quarterback order. Number 4, Baker. Number 3, Big Ben. Number 2, Lamar. Gap.
No. You got to put it in disrespect.
Oh, yeah, okay. We'll put the
and
disrespect there. So it's 4 Faker, 3 Big Ben, 2 Lamar, Huntley, whoever the Ravens quarterback is at the moment.
Wow.
Gap. Joey B.
Quarterback.
Disrespect on Lamar Jackson.
Lamar gonna have one hell of a year next year. I am going on all the overs. People have forgotten.
Yeah.
Yep. 2022 comeback player of the year.
Can you give a former MVP a comeback player?
I don't know if that makes any sense.
I think Brady won it, right?
Oh yeah,
after he tore his ACL. That was after
when you get a bad injury. Yeah.
Nova Stone, another $2 super chat. Brady, most of the career had scrubs and won with no.
I have to with no number 1 receiver. I have to agree with that. Brady's first years were kind of rough. Those weapons were kind of limited.
Yeah,
he got carried by Bill Belichick his whole career.
Oh,
French Montana verse. He got carried.
Ravens Nation $5 super chat says, for Sonny and Tony, when was the last time the Ravens and Steelers played each other and the game had no impact on the AFC North or playoff picture? How dare you, Ravens Nation? We're both still alive. Listen, Ravens, you guys may think you're done here, okay? You don't have belief in my dog, Trevor Lawrence. And let's not forget the running back who's hurt, James Robinson, still there.
I think Tony, to be fair on him, I think most Ravens fans don't think the Ravens have any chance to make the playoffs, and they just don't believe in the Steelers. So that's
well, they can still get in if the Jaguars beat the Colts.
Jaguars.
Your hopes are on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
By the way, I don't know if I did this
pick over the Detroit Lions. They have a reason not to lose right now.
They do have a reason not to win. Yeah, they do have a reason not to win.
By the way, I don't know if I said this on the offseason, but I thought Trevor Lawrence was a little overhyped. And this is the guy that I thought he was going to play. I don't think he's played horribly. I just don't think he was this amazing. Like, people were talking about him being like Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
I never thought about him like that. I thought he was always with great weapons through college, which helps.
He has not had a good rookie year, but I will, obviously when you start to read more and more about the culture that Urban Meyer was breeding there in Jacksonville, boy, it's tough to win like that when everyone hates you. I mean, literally everyone hated each other in that building. So I'm with you on Sonny. I mean, I think it's never been easier to play quarterback in the National Football League. We see guys come in all the time in their rookie year or early on and have their sparks. Never got that
weapons too. He doesn't have a lot of.
He definitely needs weapons. I think it's a lot about his environment, and then him being paired with a rookie NFL coach. I think just was not good. And like Tony said, the toxic environment was not good. But I will say this, right? A lot of guys' jobs in Jacksonville clearly are on the line. You talk about the head coach. You talk about the GM. So there's going to be guys there, obviously, that sign contracts in Jacksonville. They're going to want to perform in this game to make sure that they stick around. So sometimes it is just as easy as tanking, but, the coaches and stuff like that aren't going to try to tank because they know their jobs on the line.
The coaches, I think, there's also that wanting to prove to Urban. Remember, Urban had that whole meeting where he called everyone a loser, right? What have you ever won in your career, right? I mean, to win with Urban's team, I think there's always that in the back of these coaches' minds.
Can't believe people actually thought that Urban Meyer's name was going to work.
I have this weird thought, though, that he could go back to college and be really, really good. You know what I mean?
It's tight, but don't nobody want this.
Nick Saban.
Exactly.
It's been exposed at this point. Nick Saban wasn't kicked out of there because he sucked. They wanted Nick Saban back. He went 10-6 in Miami. You know what I mean? It was just Nick Saban was like, yo, this ain't it. Urban Meyer, man.
Just you can't recruit everybody. You can't just be like, I'm handpicking every single guy.
Urban Meyer, the type of dude that quits a Madden game like a franchise if he don't go undefeated. Like that's just Urban Meyer's get down, man.
All right, Joe here, $5 super chat says #Team Chase 1 broke the season yard record and single game as a rookie and team record with 266, and Higgins 1,000 plus, Boyd 900 ish. That's a wide receiver 1.
It's like reviving that entire concept of wide receiver 1. Like, I don't think we've seen somebody come in and be this impactful as a wide receiver. I mean, when it comes to wins and losses as well, and quite some time. I mean, the closest I can think of is like when Odell first broke out on the scene, but it wasn't as impactful to winning as Jamar Chase is right now. Like, you have to go back real far.
Julio is the other one I was thinking about. Julio's rookie year, I think, was really good.
Yeah, Julio's rookie year, where it's like, wow, man, this dude is making an absolute difference.
Yeah, AJ Green definitely for sure. That's why I never was really sold on Andy Dalton even year one, because he was just throwing stuff up, and AJ Green would just jump over like 3 guys.
AJ there somewhere.
All right, let's keep going here. Nova Stone, another $2 super chat. Really appreciate everybody writing in today. Belichick will beat Taylor just like McVay. GSOT.
I don't know what GSOT means.
I have no idea either.
No idea.
Belichick did school McVay.
Oh, one thing I was going to say is in the Panay and Chase debate, the guy who doesn't get enough credit, Jonah Williams. Jonah Williams has played his butt off this year as the left tackle of the Bengals. I have to give him his respect for sure.
Yeah. Health.
So Joe Burrow
be good with health.
Joe Burrow did the meme. He talked about the meme after the game, right? The like, screw it, Jamar's out there somewhere. that meme was started after the draft, right? After they took Jamar and the people that were mad they didn't take Panay. Is that right?
I thought that meme started with Mark Andrews.
Nah, that meme started with like Pat Mahomes and like Aaron Rodgers. They'd just be like, F it, my receivers out there somewhere.
Oh, okay.
I remember actually tweeting that with Joe Goodberry, because he did like this thing where he went out and he was throwing it, and I captioned it, and I was just like, F it, Jamar Chase is out there somewhere.
I love that. By the way, you go back and look at there's like a diagram where it's like Burrow, and
the lineman.
The lineman, and it's like throwing it to anybody. And then it's like, Burrow, getting sacked. Anyway, it's a cute one to go back and look at now, because turns out anyone can block, and Jamar Chase pretty good out there receiving. Neutral Chaos $5 super chat here says, what are everyone's thoughts on the Bengals starters playing in the last game against the Browns? I'll keep it short here. I think they should play if they have a chance. If the Chiefs were to lose, I think they should play. If not, obviously you should rest.
I would say if healthy, right? Because you want to go healthy into the playoffs.
Yeah.
So if Burrow's knee is just sore, I wouldn't play him.
If it looked like the Browns about to trot out Myles Garrett out there, just or Jadeveon Clowney, nah, he don't need
Clowney's playing.
But if it looked like the Browns about to wrap it up and have Porter Gustin out there for most of the snaps, just roll him out there, baby. You can do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Get them practice reps in. If it looked like the Browns score completely, give up. I don't know what energy they gonna come in on. Look, the quarterback's already decided he's not playing. He didn't leave the field injured. He did not. He left the game throwing an interception. So I don't know what to do with this team or what they're going to look like in this game, because it could be like a fired coach thing where the offense is like, oh, Baker ain't here. We going to actually block now. Who knows what the hell's going on in there.
Codex $5 super chat says, from an outside perspective, Ace, Quincy, and Tony, what do you think went wrong for the Ravens this season? Ace, let's start with you. What do you think?
I think it really obviously the injuries are going to play a part, but I really think that it was just Lamar Jackson was really off his game. I always felt like the Ravens would always have a chance if they had Lamar Jackson. He started off solid, and I think that and probably Sonny can speak more to this, right, as far as how the offensive game plan went. But I think once Lamar wasn't himself, the combination of the injuries and stuff like that, it just really went downhill for them. They really started off as a team that were, battling against all odds and being able to pull it out there. But as soon as Lamar Jackson's play kind of started to get shaky, just because of injuries, not because of him himself, right? It's really because of that injury that he's still battling right now. I think from my perspective, that's kind of what went wrong, because, Lamar is that guy. He can definitely have an impact on that team. And I think that was what kind of became the issue. And then you can also point to the defense too, right? Because we kind of all unanimously said that this secondary for the Ravens was number one, right? Mm-hmm. And they just weren't that this year. I don't know if it was miscommunications or what it was, but it just seemed like every game that I watched, there was always one deep shot that was given up at like the wrong time. And it always kind of affected them from that perspective. So for me, from my outsider perspective, I would say that is kind of what went wrong for them. And then obviously you got the COVID stuff going on. So a lot of that all together, I think, is what went wrong from my perspective.
Quincy, what about you? What do you think? What went wrong for the Ravens this year?
Everybody got injured.
Yeah.
I think this is really what happened. I don't think, Lamar didn't play well down the stretch. I think he got injured at certain points.
He
right?
got hurt.
When we're talking about Tyler Huntley
well.
being faster than Lamar Jackson, I think that has to do with him getting hurt. Everybody got hurt. Offensive line sucked because everybody got hurt. The defense started to falter because literally their best 2 corners got hurt. Everybody got hurt. They'll be back next year, hopefully healthy, and they'll be the team that we, kind of worry about when they're healthy.
Yeah, I think the problem for the Ravens is they ran into the Steelers and they never recovered. They've just never recovered from that loss. They've lost 5 in a row now after losing to the Steelers. They just can't. No. I mean, look, I think one super chat there was a super chat we got. It was during our prediction show, I think, and I said the ceiling for the Ravens right now after all the injuries happened. I said, look, the ceiling is 10. Right. And I got a lot of flack from super chats, and there was a super chat guy who wrote in and said, at least the Ravens are getting their injuries out of the way now. And I remember saying, like, no. That's not how this works. Right. They're going to continue. Like, you are going through catastrophic injuries now, and it is going to continue to pile. Yeah. And that's why, the ceiling is for me with them was so low. And I think injuries, I think it starts and stops with injuries. Right. And Lamar's injury is in here too, because I think if Lamar had stayed healthy down the stretch, they'd probably win 1 or 2 of these games in this 5-game losing streak and are competitive in this division still, maybe even win it, Nice. But I think it all comes down to injury. This team it started bad, and in the NFL, especially in a 17-game season, you're going to have a ton of injuries, and they certainly did. All right. New Mexico race here. $2 super chat. Go Steelers. Appreciate that. Steeler Nation representing today. Mary Wiles, $5 super chat here. I don't see. This is okay. I got it here. Do you think Ben has rejuvenated and bring the Steelers to a Super Bowl? Boy,
bring him back.
What in the world about what he did yesterday was rejuvenating about it? Like
1 more year.
I think he should come for 1 more year.
1 more year? No. I think we'll talk about Steelers in a second.
Year, let's do it.
I know it was the Ben Roethlisberger show, the whole broadcast.
Yeah. No. I think it was the right way to send him out. There were some things about his play where you're like, this is good. It's the end.
He got carried by Najee. He got carried by Baker Mayfield.
Najee's coming up party.
Yeah. Nova Stone here. $2 super chat. Bill Belichick. We're on to Cincinnati.
What he gonna do?
I would love
what he gonna do if the Patriots play
the? I want that to die. Now everybody says that.
We're on
if the Patriots play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, what's he gonna do?
Super Bowl? Stop.
Yeah,
I don't think I can watch that Super Bowl. So.
Oh no! If I had to sit through 2.5 hours of the bet, I felt like I was at his wedding. How much packages they have with Ben Roethlisberger? You got to sit through that one.
One thing though that Q was spot on, and you guys are probably gonna forget this. Remember a few weeks ago, Q was like, Ben Roethlisberger is just saving all of those quarters for that last game against the Browns for that performance, and he literally went out and did that.
I don't know what that is.
Quarters to Najee.
I'm not sure what that was.
Najee had
getting that dub.
Yeah. Listen, he did enough. They did enough. As he said after the game, it wasn't pretty, but they got the job done. All right. 1-1 Blue here. $10 super chat says Zach Taylor just won a division where the other 3 teams all won 11 plus games and made the playoffs last year. LaFleur won his crap division again. Vrabel won his even worse division again. Coach of the year easily.
I think Vrabel. I didn't thought about Vrabel before, but whoever was the super chat, I think Vrabel actually has a legit chance. I don't like LaFleur as much for Coach of the Year. I think I still give it to Zach Taylor. But if they give it to Vrabel, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, this is just insane. Because of Vrabel losing their best player. Legit, we have said that King Henry is their offense, right? We said that before. Yeah. As soon as he went down, we were like, well, maybe they, limp it to the playoffs because that division is bad. But after that, they also got big wins. I say that the division is bad, but they still got big wins after that, and they now are in the top seed, making it to the first. I never thought after losing King Henry they were gonna be the top seed in the whole AFC. So I can see Vrabel. I think still Taylor, but I can see Vrabel.
Yeah,
Vrabel. I think, like you said, I think because they had all of the injuries, it's a conversation. But I think by the point that they lost Henry, they were already kind of up there and wins. And we already knew that they were a playoff team, right? Obviously, Derrick Henry's best running back in the league. He's the face of that team. But we already knew that the Titans were a playoff team, especially in that division.
Yeah, I mean, I think using look, the AFC North is competitive, but I don't think it's very good, right? And I think that's been the thing. That's been kind of the theme all year, especially down the stretch. Is like, look, this division is not very good. One team, and this is why I think I'm still going to give it to Taylor here. I'm not saying that you should use this against Taylor. I think one team got good in this division, right? The Bengals kind of separated themselves here down the stretch. Like, they are a legitimately good team. The rest of us in this division,
we stink.
Yeah, just not good, right? So I know last year everyone in this division is good, but 3 teams in this division took major step backwards from where they were a year ago, and one team took a giant leap forward. And I would still give him Coach of the Year. All right, Bengals Central here, $2 super chat. I had it. It was right here. We turned. #whodey. Kill the Great, $2 super chat. Lamar Jackson, best athlete. Joe Burrow, best quarterback.
Man, I would just Bengal fans. I know you're dancing on the grave and like, look, celebrate your win. You don't have to bring Lamar Jackson slander into this. You don't have to.
I don't think it's slander though. I think he's just saying like
he's calling him an athlete. Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean he's a quarterback. Yeah, but
he is a quarterback. He's a quarterback. Don't call him no athlete.
I need my Ravens fans to mark these tweets, super chat, and just send it to Lamar Jackson. Yeah, send it to Lamar. Look at what these guys here are thinking all the division about you. Just send it to them.
I mean, he does run a 4.3. I'm just saying, like he is amazing.
I agree, but
it's just.
But if it is a slight, if it is being used against him, then that's not cool. But
you don't want Lamar Jackson out here talking about Twitter comments after he played the Bengals. Like,
we're gonna I'm ready for next year. Lamar in a press conference, not bad for an athlete. Here we go.
Well, one thing I will say on that,
500 on people like that, man.
One thing I will say on that, and we touched on it actually when we did the in-person one. Lamar Jackson's, I think someone asked, what's Lamar Jackson's biggest weakness? Lamar Jackson's biggest weakness is when he listens to people call him like an athlete and all of that, and then it takes him out of his game where he wants to throw 40 and 50 times, where, it's not that he can't do that, but what scares people about Lamar Jackson is his ability to extend the play. So if you say stuff like that to him, like the Logan Wilson thing, there were opportunities, and Sonny probably saw this as well. There were opportunities where Lamar could have run for a first down in that game. But because he came out and said the whole running back thing, and his head is, I have to throw every play. I have to show and prove that I can throw the ball and I don't deserve this criticism. And I think that is what works against him sometimes. And I was talking to Willie Anderson, and he said that a lot of people did that with like Mike Vick or like running quarterbacks. They'll come out and say stuff like that just to get them to throw and not run, because they don't want you to run at all. And I think that is one of the things that kind of gets in his head from that perspective.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, you don't got to play the Ravens no more than likely. Y'all don't got them on the schedule. Y'all already swept them. I don't know why y'all bringing more Lamar. It's just take the knee. Why are you throwing passes right now? Like, just take the knee. You don't have to do this. That's all I'm saying.
That's the smoke that Ravens that you don't want to. I don't know.
This ain't talking about Baker Mayfield. Like, he's not going to do nothing to you. Well, I mean, not because he's not playing. Like, he really quit.
I mean, you got so many Ravens coming back off season-ending injuries next year. It is going to be interesting to watch how that Ravens team kind of goes together. And Lamar is part of it because he's coming back. I mean, not a season-ending for Lamar, but you had obviously Humphrey and Edwards and for the rest Dobbins and Stanley and
they're getting a lot of guys back. Like, you're going to see the Ravens come back next year and we'll be like, oh, yeah, I forgot they had those dudes on the roster.
Yeah, I mean, Colin Cowherd's going to look at that and go, like, this team won 8 games. They're 16-0, and they had all these now 16-0. It's going to be all over.
And the fact that they could get a pretty good, potential draft pick, too.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, don't let them get somebody good at the draft.
Daniel, $2 super chat here says, where are you guys at with Burrow versus
Ooh, I like
Herbert?
This one.
I think on this one, Herbert.
Neighborhood.
It's really going. I mean, obviously, I'm taking Burrow. I don't think you can really go wrong with either one. But Herbert's in a very important game this weekend. Like, if Herbert doesn't win that game, I think that you got to go with Burrow, because Burrow already did it against Mahomes. Herbert's in a similar situation, win and go to the playoffs. He's got to come through for that team. But Herbert is an amazing player as well.
Burrow and Herbert are different in this way, right? I think Herbert's somebody from a stat sheet standpoint, kind of like a Russell Westbrook, where it's like he could put up huge numbers and do all those things. But what Burrow has that he doesn't is that you trust Burrow way more as a closer, right? If you have one drive left, I trust that to be Burrow than Herbert, because Herbert, you know what he's going to do. He's going to go deep all the time. He's going to try to take the shot. He's going to go for the kill most of the time, and that can either end in a very volatile situation. Yeah. With Burrow, it's starting to become kind of the thing where it's like if Burrow has that drive for 2 minutes, it's like, yeah, you know what's up.
It's a little.
I would take Burrow.
Quincy, that's a little. I mean, I know what you're saying, and you are right, because but that's a little bit like of the now, right? Of the last month, because if you would have talked to us 10 weeks ago, about Joe Burrow late in games. I mean, he had some fourth quarter interceptions this year where you're like, all right, well, when he gets that part of his game, I mean, look, he has certainly grown, and I'm not trying to say you're wrong, because obviously over the last month he certainly has been that guy. But there are parts of the season that you can look at with Burrow and been like, all right, well,
Yep.
I just feel like it's at the point to where I feel like he's done it enough recently. Yeah, he's been forced in it, and it's been as big as moments as it's been, huge moments where it's like, okay, I think he's over whatever it is, and if this is what he's going to be at the end of games, this is one of the better guys at the end of games you can have.
Statistically, looking at these two players, they're almost. I mean, they're.
It's crazy. It's always identical between.
They're like
those
identical.
Two guys. I think I did like the first 17 games. It's always identical between those two guys. It's insane.
It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, Diddy, $2. Didn't I say we taken the North after the Browns game?
You might have.
Maybe
he might have. Diddy might have.
I said it a while ago. I'll give credit to myself.
Yeah, Sonny's got to get credit for that as well.
We spread a debate here just because I said that they should win the division.
Sonny, I also remember a rant that you went on. I thought Joe Burrow was that dude. So
yeah, after the Jets. But you see, that take was older. I'm going with a more recent take.
I'm with you. Listen, hey, I was right. Listen, I said it's only a matter of time before the Bengals turn into a pumpkin. I said it the week before they lost back-to-back games to the Jets and whoever the other team they lost to, or the Browns. So
whoever that team is.
Whoever that is.
Funny side note, Tony, I actually went to go see the Cinderella ballet last weekend, and they brought out the pumpkins.
And the whole time you was just thinking about Tony.
I got him. All right, Tyler here, $2 super chat. We're gonna be all right, Q. We got AB. Listen, I said this to Q on Twitter. This is not the week to refer to Andrew Berry as AB. He is not the AB in the news. Okay,
no.
AB quit.
But when you say we got AB, that implies that somebody employs that AB, and we know one is not employed. So I think people know the difference. That Andrew Berry is somebody employed in the NFL currently, and then Antonio Brown is a man who.
I'm shocked we have no AB super chat.
I got one that I want to talk about though. Who is the leading tight end in the NFL right now? Anybody got a guess? Anybody?
Sonny, talking about a neighborhood here?
Neighborhood guy?
Yeah. Your friendly neighborhood tight end?
Mr. Applebee's.
Mandrews. Without his starting quarterback.
Him and
but he was pissed as Huntley this last week.
Putting up them Allen Robinson numbers. They just got to throw it to somebody.
Them Allen Robinson numbers.
Watch Allen Robinson to the Browns.
Listen, him and Huntley have a rapport. Those two guys clearly.
So did Allen Robinson and Mitchell Trubisky.
Hey, listen, see if we can get them both next year. They need a quarterback and a receiver, so I'll take them both. Codex, $2 super chat. You guys got my super chat. I think we did. Codex wrote in a little earlier. I think we got to his.
We did.
Yeah,
we did. I know we're behind. We're just behind.
We're behind. I mean, we are getting inundated with super chats, and obviously, we love it. All right, New Mexico raised here. $5 super chat.
Guys.
Yeah, there's a little bit of an echo coming. Which AFC North team would be in the Super Bowl? Well, it's only one that's going to make the playoffs.
AFC North, but there's only one right now guaranteed in the playoffs. So the only one that has a chance to make the the Super Bowl if they have a chance.
You don't think after watching Najee Harris run for 2,000 yards, I'm pretty sure it was 2,000, I think it was on Monday night. You don't think he's going to run right through Derrick Henry style through the AFC when after the Jaguars beat the Colts?
No.
You know what? That just reminded me. I was watching that Browns-Steelers game, and I was like, this feels so familiar to a game I watched recently. And it was just the Alabama-Cincinnati game. Like, it was just that game all over again, to be honest with you. Like, it was like defense hanging on. The defense can't stop the run, though, to save their lives. So it doesn't matter what the secondary's doing. It was just
that stiff arm was crazy, bro.
Yeah, which one?
Hey, Chubb had a good one too. I'll give credit.
Chubb
had a good one too.
Chubb gave a concussion to somebody, but
Chubb's was like 2 yards behind line of scrimmage. Najee's like 20 yards.
Najee's and it happened to my boy MJ Stewart. You know,
moment of silence.
Made a big play.
Moment of silence for MJ Stewart.
No, he came back and played well.
Aaron with a $5 super chat says, "This is late, but a great comp for Burrow is Tom Brady from the waist up and Rodgers legs down."
He's better.
I mean, his pocket presence, I think, has really. That's the one thing that I have to say is there were times where Joe Burrow would kind of take some sacks, even though the offensive line was bad. I think at some point this season, it kind of clicked in his head that he needed to start moving out of the pocket. He
was. I mean, there were so many times in this game because I don't know how many sacks he took. He took a bunch of sacks in this game, and they were getting pressure. But there were so many times where the Chiefs had their hands around Burrow, looked like he's going down, and he was able to wiggle free. Yeah, not just pocket awareness, right? But just his ability to kind of to get away from pressure.
Tom Brady's pocket presence, he sometimes makes a half a step. He just moves just enough so somebody to miss him. That is irritating with Tom Brady. Especially the young quarterback.
But Brady wasn't, Brady wasn't always that way. Brady
No. He developed that. That.
Early on in Brady's career, he did some really stupid crap. There was a game against the Dolphins where he fell after he took the snap and he was on his ass and he tried to throw the ball and he threw an interception. Like Brady would do some really stupid things from the pocket at times early in his career. So, but obviously he's 44 now, so he's got some, he's got all
young legs.
And I did see Burrow do one thing that Brady does, and I think Zim talked about this. Like when you see the guy just coming through, just throw the ball on the ground. Just give up and throw it. And that's something that Tom Brady does all the time. He'll see the guy coming and he's just like, just throw it down.
So this is an interesting super chat. One blue, $5 super chat. No way could any other quarterback do what Burrow is doing with a bottom 5 offensive line, leading the league in sacks and pressures. When Burrow gets a line, game over. I'm intrigued to see them say that the Bengals have a bottom 5.
I think
it's been bad lately. Ever since Riley Reef went out, they just have kind of collapsed ever since they lost.
But overall, the Bengals O-line is definitely, I feel like this year, these has to be top 15, maybe top 10 over the whole
I don't know if I
year.
go top 10.
I wouldn't go top 10,
I'd
but I would
probably
say
go
top 20.
Yeah, top 20 is where I would say too.
Yeah,
we need to find a ranking
because if you have somebody who can really if you have a good defensive end, the Bengals offensive line all year has been vulnerable, even with
the tackles when they're healthy, both Reef and
look at the couple of games where they lost, they should have early in the year, even when Reef was there. It was Chicago and it was Cleveland.
Yeah, but that was the offense.
You've given up 51 sacks. So
they've given up. They even when they had their healthy offensive line, they're vulnerable. What they've been able to do though is hold up against solid defensive lines, right? Which is not what we thought they could do, right? Coming into this year. So I think they played above expectation, but definitely. I am interested to see what Burrow does with the offensive line. Does it take away something from his game almost because he's so good at breaking up those broken plays, or does it add to it, which I would assume it does, right? There's no reason to not. But it's going to be interesting. Jamar Chase with time, it's terrifying.
That back play came off for a reason. That's all I'll say.
Yellow Car Supreme $5 super chat says AFC needs realignment.
No.
Colts replace the Ravens in the AFC North. Ravens replace the Dolphins in the AFC East. No. Dolphins replace the Colts in the AFC South. Your team benefit. And I think what he's trying to do here is to make it so that the names of these divisions make
I know what he's doing.
Make more sense.
No.
You want to move at this point. I would say if you want to move the Bengals out of the AFC North,
no.
Nova Stone.
There you go.
Here we go. GSOT was greatest show on turf. Of course it was. Belichick beats great offense. Yes, that has been.
Why did Belichick lose to Doug Peterson?
Well,
and Nick Foles.
He has a problem with NFC East teams.
So you tell me you play.
That's true. He lost Eli Manning and Eli
Manning twice.
And Nick Foles.
His losses make no sense.
And Ryan Tannehill, most recently in the playoffs, Ryan Tannehill.
Oh yeah, Ryan Tannehill.
So he's got a type.
Yeah,
Belichick has a type of quarterback.
Your quarterback might be too good to beat Bill Belichick.
Honestly, the biggest issue, Baker didn't make the playoffs early enough. Baker against Belichick could have been dangerous.
If Baker would have played against Belichick this year, he would have done nothing.
Amos here, $10 super chat says, "Congrats, Bengals fans." Tony, how would you feel if the Steelers fixed the offensive line in free agency and drafted Kenny Pickett as a replacement for Ben?
Fake slide Pickett.
I think that the offensive line in free agency is definitely going to happen. I mean, I think you're going to see this team take at least they have $40 million in cap space. They're going to take at least one there.
Problem is they're not usually in free agency. Let's be honest. That's the problem.
I agree.
Linemen. They don't make it to free agency.
I agree. It's not going to be like a Joe Tooney type situation. This is going to be, you're going to get patchwork type players like the Bengals did with a Riley Reef type. But I think you're going to see that. You didn't see that last year. The Steelers did not, other than Trey Turner, which was after DeCastro retired.
Like Chris Hubbard.
Yeah. Hubbard could be. I think like Dwayne Brown could be an option.
Andy might be available. Big Andy.
Yeah,
Big Andy, bring him back.
Yeah, bring Andy back. I think the Steelers are I think they got a pretty good look at.
We'll trade it to you for 7th.
I don't think the Steelers are going to be willing to give up assets there. Yeah, I don't think that. I haven't done a lot of Kenny Pickett tape eval yet. I'm going to do that at some point this offseason. But I'll just say this: I don't know how old Kenny Pickett is, but I know he was a COVID senior. So he's
might be older than Lamar.
Yeah, he's old.
I wish I could find out a lot of these quarterbacks
not that old.
Are old.
23, not that old. I think he's actually younger than Najee.
Even Malika Wills, he's like a redshirt senior.
Yeah.
When you're talking about a project guy, redshirt senior.
Look, when you hear Tomlin talk about how he doesn't want to start over with a rookie, I don't know that he's done a lot of work on this draft class. I don't imagine that he does, but he's right in that this draft class is probably not the one where you're going to find, that dude. So I'd like to see the Steelers bridge quarterback or just, play it out with Mason for a year if you really have to.
Woo.
Ben, $2 super chat says, "Ace, have you seen the Bengals 2022 schedule? Tough."
What are you talking about?
I think I remember looking at it at one point, but
he ain't worried about.
This schedule was tough. I mean, we had to face literally every elite edge rusher. I feel like this season. So yeah, I'm not really. I'm pretty sure people are looking at us and seeing that they have to play the Bengals with Joey B next year and saying it's tough.
He's trying to figure out who he playing in the second round.
All right. I apologize. I was scrolling through these. Yeah. By the way, their 2022 schedule basically just means that they're going to have to play the division winners from every other division, including one from the NFC. I don't know which NFC one it is next year. This year was the NFC West.
Even then, they had a 4th place schedule this year. It ain't like they got off easy.
Yeah. All right. Misfit Culture TV, $5 super chat says, "Go ahead and call me Who Day Izzy from now on." Oh, no. Congrats, Ace, on the Bengals winning the AFC North. As for Baker, I'm sad that it may be the end. Should be happy that it's the end.
He announced he is not playing in the last game of the year without leaving the previous game injured. He ain't coming back, dog. That man getting surgery. They're going to try to prop him up and just beg somebody to trade for him. But he's gone.
Yeah,
what can you get for Baker Mayfield right now? Like, what is his?
You can't get nothing for Baker Mayfield.
It's a Brock Osweiler trade. You're getting the cap space off your thing, and you're
what
giving away.
What can you give to get rid of Baker Mayfield? Is the question, right?
I have a team that can trade for Baker. It's called
maybe the Bears.
No, the Rams. This is why. This is why.
I gotta hear this one.
This is why. Baker is comparable to Stafford, right? I mean, I think they can play roughly the same. Look.
Could you imagine?
This is Stafford slander, but I'm okay with it.
Could you imagine?
Let's hear it.
Well, OBJ is there for 1 year.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's reunited with OBJ.
I forgot about that.
You thought you were gonna be. Oh, imagine OBJ's dad and all the. Oh,
I forgot about that. But the reason why I say that is I think Stafford has like 3 years in his deal.
Yeah,
and they might be willing just to take the 26 for a year. Yeah, straight up. 26 for a year. I mean, the Rams had no picks to give you, right? They had literally
it's
no
not an upgrade over Stafford, though.
Well, they might be thinking like we might get him on a good year. If he's on a good year, he basically will get the same thing out of Stafford, except for you don't got to commit the extra 2 years.
That is my point. That is my point. What you're saying?
Yeah, it's like it's a gamble.
Salary dump like the NBA.
Look. Maybe some team like the Denver Broncos or the Carolina Panthers that have a history of just taking weird chances at quarterback do it. There's one every year where a dude gets traded, and you're like, why did somebody trade for Nick Foles twice?
Yeah,
people have done it, right? Yeah. So it can happen. If I were a GM, I'm not sitting here like, man, I gotta get on the phone with Andrew Berry to see if I can steal Baker Mayfield from him after he's thrown 6 interceptions in like 4 quarters.
The other thing is it's a very weak QB draft, right? Yeah. So QBs are going to be in a premium on the trading market. Huntley might be,
but look, quarterbacks are going to be at a premium. Baker Mayfield.
I don't know, dude. Like
you can trade for him.
Though, we're talking about legitimately like some people being excited to trade for Mitchell Trubisky. Like, let's not act like
not trading. No, Mitchell's a free agent. Not trading. He's a free agent. Different.
Oh, okay. Still,
and some people, you don't have to subtweet me on the show. I'm right here. Okay, I am excited
people
to get my
are excited about Mitchell Trubisky. People are excited about Tyler Hyde. It don't take much to get people excited about a quarterback.
I think you can trade for Baker for 5th, 4th, 5th. I can see it. It's a 1 year. It's a 1 year deal.
Don't John Dorsey work for the Lions? I think we found our mark. I think we found our mark.
We can trade you Goff back.
Goff for straight up?
Oh, no. Here's what you do. You trade them and then you do a pick swap. Yeah, you would trade them and then you do like a 2nd round or 3rd round pick swap. So nobody loses a pick, but you just trade picks with each other and then you swap quarterbacks and then you just cut Jared Goff. So you just move up the picks.
I just looked at the time. We are 30 minutes behind on Super Chats, by the way. Mike, $5 Super Chat. Do y'all think Jacksonville would trade for Auden Tate?
A 7th round pick.
No.
7th round.
Isn't Auden Tate a free agent this year anyway?
I think so.
Ace,
you're muted.
Yeah, Auden Tate's gonna be a free agent, I believe, after this season.
Yeah.
All right. Killer the Great, $5 Super Chat. Being called the best athlete in the NFL right now isn't a slight, it's an immense compliment.
When you're a quarterback, it's a slight.
Yeah. When you're saying one guy's a great athlete, the other guy's a great quarterback.
And they're both quarterbacks. And
that's slight. We know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's basically the running back argument.
Yeah.
Nova Stone, $2 Super Chat. Better send off for Ben, can't throw or last year? What is can't throw?
I don't know. I'm lost.
Yeah, I don't know. Last night was an amazing send off. We'll talk about it.
We could have gave him a better send off the year prior if he would have just retired.
Exactly. It's like a Scooby-Doo thing. If he would have just retired,
you would have just quit during COVID. Nah, you want to come back.
Misfit Culture, $5 Super Chat. This man Ace got the title belt. I got 2 in case you need a new one.
I was actually thinking about, I didn't have time, obviously, to get the custom belt, but I was thinking about getting a custom AFC North top belt made, and then whoever wins the division,
we need to do
just send it around.
We need to do this.
Send it around. And,
pretty sure we got enough super chats tonight that we're making this happen.
The people who look, I don't care if y'all do the belt because I don't think that shit's getting such to me. I'm not worried about taking that thing to FedEx anytime soon.
We need to do this. I agree, Tony. We need to do this.
I love that. Love.
And Ace keeps it the whole year next year. And hopefully after that, somebody can take it from it. Yeah.
By the way, it's not a super chat, but some guy keeps coming in the chat and saying Tony's the kind of person to like cheese pizza. And he's not wrong. I do like cheese pizza. Tyler with a $2 like cheese pizza. I know, exactly. Tyler with a $2 super chat.
Straight cheese pizza. We got too many super chats to get in.
Ace, you come into the game. I'm in section 160. I guess talking about the playoff.
Actually, believe it or not, I booked my tickets because they went on pre-sale, I think last Wednesday. So I will be going there. I'm going to be sitting in section 106. So we'll see how it shakes out. I think as long as it's wild card playoffs, I think they're going to be good. So yes, I will be there for the game.
Yeah.
Did they win last? Yeah, they won last time you was there.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not going to give you all the drinks I gave Engraven. I was like, Engraven in the building.
All right, Spencer here. Holy cow, $50 super chat. Really appreciate that.
Appreciate
Spencer. That. Bengals fan here saying, keep up the great work, guys. Really appreciate
it, man.
Yeah, that is awesome. That is awesome. Appreciate everybody's support today, writing with their super
there's the belt. There's the belt. Just for that super chat. There you go.
We're still 13 minutes behind on super chat. So if you have sent in a super chat in the last 15 minutes, we are still getting to it. Just like Ray Rags here.
The other three hosts' opinions about the Bengals game. We'll see how we go.
He has sprinkled in the opinion.
Ray Rags, $5 super chat says, who do the Browns send all the trolls and ish talk they're going to get the rest of the season, off season? Miles, Ward, the ghost of Otto Graham. Oh, can I say something real quick? I was in a Twitter Spaces last night during halftime that was just going nuts about Baker Mayfield and how much he sucks. And then they said something about Denzel Ward, and he's the best corner in the league. And Quincy, I want to get your thoughts on this. They had this opinion that Denzel Ward is having like a monumentally great season, and the Browns need to give him like the biggest contract in the league for a corner. Now, obviously, I'm not watching every down, but the Browns have been a good defense this year, no doubt about it. But I want to get your thoughts on that take specifically.
Denzel's good, but like he ain't been that damn good. Like he's been pretty good. He can get beat. He got beat by Devontae Adams quite a bit when he went up against him. He's a very solid corner. He should get his money. Like, you know, if you want to give him his money, I don't know how much long-term money you give him because he can't stay healthy.
Yeah,
I don't know what they talk. See, this is what Browns fans trip me out, and they just talk about, they just be emotional sometimes, because 3 weeks ago I was telling me that Denzel Ward was a bust. So like
he should get paid more than Ramsey. I think
they go all over the place with Denzel Ward, man. I was out here defending Denzel Ward.
Isn't Humphrey the number one guy now?
No. Humphrey didn't get paid more than Ramsey.
Oh, okay.
No, he got paid like top 5, but I think there were like 2 or 3 over him.
I'm just saying Jalen Ramsey's overrated.
Yeah.
There can't be two guys. Hold on. It's got to be Ramsey then Humphrey. It is. Okay, good. It is.
Yeah. But Jalen
Lattimore's at 19.4. Marlon's at 19.5. Ramsey's at 20. Okay. I was worried for a second there.
Once he had a hot take right there. He said that Ramsey is overrated.
Oh my! Stop. All right.
We're
not doing that. We are 1 hour in.
That whole damn Ravens game. Like, do something. Make a play. It's Tyler Huntley. Nah, man. He just sitting out there making tackles 5 yards.
Aaron Donald only had half a sack. Is he overrated too?
Who?
Aaron Donald. He had half a sack. Is he overrated too?
He was getting triple teamed though.
By who? No,
I ain't gonna say nothing bad about Aaron Donald.
If 3 Ravens blockers try to block you, like, does that really count as a triple team?
Okay, but that's different than covering Marquise Brown. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's different than that.
Jorge, $2 super chat says, I hope we can give Ben his final beatdown. I'm assuming Jorge is a Ravens fan.
Yeah.
Jorge, we will talk about that in our preview show.
Yeah.
Good thing we doing 2 shows.
Yeah.
This is a week to imagine if we were trying to get it all in today. My goodness. Too many clamps. $2 super chat here says AB as backup QB for the Browns. And see, now I don't know what we're talking about anymore. Are we talking about AB?
You talking about somebody getting a job. That's Antonio Brown. You know what I mean?
By the way, just want to say to everyone in chat today who wrote in, and I'm going to go back and watch the video. Everyone who was telling me that Ben was the real problem in Pittsburgh and he was driving everybody out of town, just want to say,
victory lap.
You don't have to write in. I accept your apology. It's fine. We'll move on.
Tony's hitting that AB pad.
Listen, what a great moment it was. And I'm so glad because I missed it as it was happening. My wife had to point out. She said, "What's going on with AB over there?" And I'm like, "I don't know. He's hurt or something." Then I saw him throw his gloves into the stands. I'm like, wait. Hold on a minute here. What's this? Let me rewind that for a second. Yeah.
See, somebody had tweeted on my timeline, Antonio Brown out there doing cartwheels, butt booty ass naked. And I was like, we should just do some cartwheels out there. Was that a touchdown celebration? See, like you see stuff like with that with Antonio Brown. You don't even assume that something wild happened that you have to check. I'm like, oh, he did a dumb touchdown celebration or something like that. No, that man's.
Whenever I see Antonio Brown trending, I get, even me as a Bengals fan, I get anxiety because I'm like, what has he done now?
I agree.
I get excited. I'm like, well, what has he done now?
I'm going to give all credit to my brother on this one. He texted me right after the Antonio quit in the middle of the game. He said, wow, I guess the Bucs must have announced their team MVP at halftime. So
serious question here, though. Do you guys think? I feels like he never was the same after the perfect hit. Do you guys?
Everyone
agree
says
with that?
It feels too easy. Look,
was he like that? Like, you know best, Tony, because you were in
Ryan
Pittsburgh
Clark
knowing about the
seems to
shenanigans.
say he was always like that.
Ryan Clark, that's what Ryan Clark does.
Seems to be dead ass about like he was always like that, and it was really just him getting the money and the security that gave him the comfort to be more Antonio Brown. But if you look at his history, like even at Central Michigan and everywhere else where he came up, he been doing Antonio Brown stuff for a while. Like he's just, I mean, homies from Florida, man, you know.
Look,
there's
I knew the Florida man shots were coming. I knew they were.
Homie from Florida, we know how Florida get down.
Look, for me, when he went and did the two-tone mustache, I was like, nah, this dude is nuts. When he did the Hollywood Hogan,
remember when people thought People thought that was like a 4D chess move to try to force his way. They're like, he's not really this crazy. He's just doing
People
this.
People still think he playing 4D chess. They're like, oh, he was trying to get a bonus. They're like, no, man. He got mad and took his shirt off. That's all he did.
Yeah.
He needs some help.
Yeah. All right. Joseph here, $5 super chat says Bengals run blocking grade saves their rankings. Bengals pass blocking is bottom 5, particularly at center and right guard. I'm assuming that Joseph here is referring to
Bengals
grading here.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the grading.
I haven't seen the grading.
Another fun thing to look at if we talk about
run blocking, they're pretty good. Pass blocking,
it's another fun thing to look at. You look at Herbert and Burrow, and they're statistically like basically the same. Go look at Joe Mixon and Najee Harris after last night. Almost identical. It's like stupid how close they are.
Really?
Yeah. The Blue Libra $5 super chat here says Bengals O-line only has one first-round drafted player in Jonah. It was a talking point during the Chiefs game, and Prince is looking rough at right tackle. I think for sure they struggled in this game. Ace, correct me if I'm wrong here. They've always struggled with like the delay blitzes and things like that, right? I mean,
I mean, Prince. Let's just be real. Prince is a guy that literally was almost on like the practice squad, right? Like he's not the guy. Like he's a really big step down from Riley Reif. I think that Jackson Carman actually played pretty solid. Going in for Spain. Spain was also good. They lost Spain in this game as well, right? And Spain's probably, well, not even probably, he is their second best lineman. I could confidently say that. But I mean, Prince isn't the guy that's going to be there. Like no one even expected Isaiah Prince to make the roster, let alone assume that he's going to be the guy at right tackle. So I think Jonah is good. I think the other guys you definitely have some question marks about. I mean, Hakeem Adeniji didn't have the best game either, right?
Yeah.
But they do have some guys. Trey Hopkins, you talk about, he's solid. So Isaiah Prince, I get it, guys, but we all know as Bengals fans, nobody even expected Isaiah Prince to make this roster, let alone be starting at right tackle.
I do think that, and you touched on it. I mean, this Bengals offensive line has gone through some injuries now where it's getting to the point where, like, look, what team in the league is going to survive, 2-3 injuries to key pieces of their offense? I mean, Riley Reif was like the big acquisition this offseason in free agency on that offensive line, and he's been out for weeks now. So, certainly going to have an effect.
And he's not coming back. I believe Zach Taylor said Riley Reif is not walking through that door again. So, going to have to figure it out for sure.
Austin, $5 super chat here coming in with a bold take. The Bengals need the Patriots as the first game in the postseason. Ooh. Great warm-up game. Ooh. Nothing better than the coach for baby detest Burrow.
I will say this. I think if you're not trying to run and you don't want the easy way, like I feel like this, right? It's tough to say, but I think it's a scarier matchup to play the Patriots than the Colts. Right, because of Bill Belichick. But I think just like this Chiefs game, if you can win that game, mentally that's going to give you confidence. Like if I can go in and beat Bill Belichick in the first round, I could potentially beat anyone. So I think it is. I don't know if it's a great warm-up game, but I think if you're talking about the
warm-up part.
Yeah, the warm-up is where it's
Yeah, the warm-up one is a little I don't know about that. But I think if you want to really test yourself early, I think that is a good way to do it.
The trophy don't get shinier just because you took it the hard way, though.
I don't know.
It's the same trophy, whichever way you get it.
Whichever way you can get it. I'll take that trophy however it comes.
You say that, but I do remember in 05, and when the Steelers won that Super Bowl in 05, they did go through the hardest possible schedule you can have, which is 3 seed 1 seed, 2 seed, 1 seed. Right, that's who they played the entire. And Steeler fans definitely let people
Steelers fan remember that way.
Yeah,
but the rest of the division,
I'm about to say,
the
this
rest
is
of
the
the
first
NFL,
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Well,
we all think, okay, they won the Super Bowl. Okay, whatever.
They got carried to a Super Bowl in 2005.
Not surprised that you guys don't know the intricacies of every Steeler, but that's why I'm here. Listen, I'm going to teach you guys the intricacies of every Steeler.
Hey, look,
there's a lot of them, so it's going to take a while.
If Steeler fans have not let you know that, then there's no other fan base that will brag
3 seed,
about
1
it.
seed, 2 seed, 1 seed. It was Bengals, Peyton, Broncos, Seahawks.
Oh,
I mean,
is that the game where they tore up Carson's knee? Was that
John Kitna played well. Don't let any Bengals fan fool you. John Kitna played well in that game.
That's because the
Steelers,
whatever. Remind me of this, but the Steelers at first kept the same game plan that they were going to use against Carson Palmer, which was like not throwing too much pressure at him and just letting him kind of throw. And then they realized this is John Kitna, and they switched it.
That game was real competitive. Like once Carson went out, I was like, okay, Steelers are going to win this game. And then that game was super competitive for too long. Yeah, and then the Steelers ended up pulling away late.
Tried to sneak.
Shout out to John Kitna, man.
Also, that Broncos team 2 seed, Jake Plummer. I mean, it's a weird year. In the NFL. They were the 2 seed. I can't listen. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. Okay. Jake Plummer and the Broncos were the 2 seed that year. All right. Sean Hill, $5 super chat says, "Is Ace? How about this for a new name for Jamar Chase? Matrix the number 1."
Wouldn't that be?
I like that, but Uno is a classic. I mean, the Uno one is a classic.
All right, we're gonna get some more super chats here. Just gotta find them. We're catching up here. What is it? 7:12, and we're at 7:00. So we're still about 10 minutes behind now. We're catching. Yellow Car Supreme, another $10 super chat. Really appreciate everybody writing in. Including you, Yellow Cars. Will Chiefs fade as playoff contenders as the Mahomes $500 million 10-year contract eats up so much cap space the Chiefs won't be able to afford new weapons? Brady always took pay cuts to buy weapons.
I'm going to contend that one. I'm going to contest that one. When did the Patriots buy weapons? Wasn't the whole thing with like Brady every year he was there? Oh man, they don't have any weapons around him. And the year they had Randy Moss, but even they got Randy Moss on a discount. The Chiefs are going to be okay regardless of their cap situation, just because one, that 10-year contract, everybody talks about it as this big cap burden. Later in that contract, that's going to be a fine contract to have Patrick Mahomes under. Two, people are going to take pay cuts to play with Patrick Mahomes in the Kansas City Chiefs. Like that is a lick that you can hit and get your stats up. So they will have an abundance of playmakers that want to go play for Kansas City. Yep. This isn't like a run first team where, hey, once you get capped out, you're going to have trouble. This is a team where people want to play for that offense. So I think you'll be fine ultimately. Maybe it might be hard to stack up the defense year after year, and the offensive line might be something that's difficult to keep up with, but they already paying the offensive line right now. So I think they're going to be fine.
And think about this. When we talk about players trying to get that 1-year prove me deal, for example, I know we joke about Allen Robinson, but if Allen Robinson says, I need to do a 1-year prove me deal, right? He can go to the Chiefs and be that number 2 over there.
My goodness. Right? Don't say that. We don't need
I'm just saying.
That sounds like it's going to happen, right? Odell going to end up there eventually. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Jarvis probably going to end up with the Chiefs.
No, but
there's always guys.
Robinson is that type of receiver that is different from Cheetah, right? He can definitely work out there.
Yeah. And I will say this. Look, I'll say this about the Patriots. They, look, while they didn't go out and the money they saved from Brady, they didn't go out and spend on like big name players, but they were the king of like that mid-tier contract, right? They signed guys like, Chris Hogan and Martellus Bennett and guys like that who were not superstars, but they were all like key cogs to the wheel, right? People forget like that Chris Hogan year, the year that they beat.
How many years were the Patriots capped out though? Like they've never been capped out. Like people talk about Brady saving that money, but like they've always had like $10 million in cap. They've always been in the middle of the pack. They've barely ever been at the top. Like this year's going to be one of the first years. Next year is going to be where they capped out, but they're hardly ever capped out. And I think Brady is nice. It adds to the legend of Tom Brady. He's done that, but I think Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowls, whether he gets paid $30 million or whether he gets paid $18 million. In my opinion.
The other thing I'll say is I think that by them doing the contract now, it's going to reset the market. So they actually may get this guy at somewhat of a discount if we're talking 5 years from now, 9 years from now. It actually may be they actually have more cap space than other teams.
Yeah. I mean, Mahomes won't be the highest paid.
Well, he
quarterback
has opt-outs, so he does have opt-outs.
Oh, he does have an opt-out.
And the
He's
Chiefs
full of Aaron Rodgers.
Here's more. I think more likely the fun thing about a 10-year contract is that you can just keep rolling money to this. This is why people say the salary cap is a myth, is because you just start rolling money into future years. You kick the can. You never end up having to pay unless
and then that first team after Mahomes is retired, it's just going to suck.
Right. But it's like, who cares at that point? Yeah. So that's one thing they can do. Ray Rags, $5 super chat says the Browns played so bad Q had to stream watching Malik Willis tape.
Yeah, I legit turned on Malik Willis's tape during the fourth quarter of that Browns game, and it wasn't helping because Malik Willis's tape wasn't good. It was like, I'm just watching the same stuff that I'm watching up here.
That's funny. I did have a couple people DM me on Twitter last night saying you should join Q's stream. We're watching Malik Willis, and I'm like, I don't know. This joke is weird, but I didn't realize you were actually watching.
No. It was after that drive. It was after that drive, Tony, where they got like 12 penalties, and it got a penalty on the punt, and they had to punt the ball from like their own end zone on a 4th and 50. And I was just like, they're not winning. Let's do something else.
Look at Nova Stone's.
Nova Stone here, $2 super chat. Mike Tomlin coming through for me. Appreciate that. Said Patrick Mahomes, the best linebacker in the AFC.
Patrick Mahomes is the best linebacker in the AFC North.
Patrick Queen.
Patrick Queen
Every time Tony talks slander about Patrick Queen, just super chat that quote.
I love it because Tomlin talks up every player. He does this whole press conference. Starts it off like, this guy's great. I have this guy, and then when he said today, I was watching it on my lunch break.
North.
When he said Patrick Queen's playing like the best linebacker in the AFC North, you see it on tape, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, great. Thank you, Tomlin.
I'm just saying.
That was him just smoking that JOK pack.
Yeah.
That was all he was doing.
Yeah. It was a little disrespectful, actually. John here, $5 super chat. Derek Carr would be perfect for the Browns or Pittsburgh, to be honest. Joey Shiesty,
now that Chucky's not there, Derek Carr ain't going nowhere. I thought if Gruden will stay, they were going to trade him, but not anymore.
Is Carr's contract? People keep mentioning Carr as going places. I mean,
it's because Gruden always had this fluttering, like, I might trade him, I might not. Yeah, I think Carr is secure for like a year too.
Okay, yeah, because I think so he's
got a pretty reasonable deal.
Yeah. He's got one more year left at $20 million. Yeah.
Yeah, he's you're gonna keep.
I think he stays in Oakland.
No way. I think there's no way you get rid of him now. He's had a good year. They might make the playoffs. I mean, they might make the playoffs after having to fire their coach.
I mean, would there be a better quarterback for Las Vegas, the gambling city, than the gambling quarterback in Baker Mayfield? Like that would just be like, hey, high roll, low roll, what you want. It's like playing craps with your football team.
One blue $5 super chat says, I'm telling you, Burrow's O-line is bad. Look at Brady, 682 attempts, 21 sacks. Herbert, 608, 28. Mahomes, 614, 27. Burrow, 520, 51. That's a sack facts. Every 10 attempts.
It is facts.
Not going to disagree. I will say one thing about those guys is obviously with guys like Mahomes and Brady, right? They're just they know where the pressure's coming from. And it could – I think there's a veteran part of this is as Burrow gets older, as he sees more looks and he understands how to adjust his fronts.
The pressure number.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's actually great.
Honestly, in the conversation, like the pressure
numbers
are a little bit more relevant. Because there were times where Joe Flacco would never get sacked, but he would have a bunch of 3 and outs because all he would do is throw the ball out of his sack.
Yeah. All right, Dakota here, $2 super chat says, guys, Antonio Brown is on my roof. What do I do?
Get Mike Mayock.
Don't look him in the eyes. Don't look him in the eyes. Back away slowly. Yellow Car Supreme. Yellow Car Supreme, $5 super chat. And you got to watch out for AB, by the way. If he's on your roof, he will throw a couch. He will throw a couch off. Inside joke for people who remember when he threw the couch off the. Well, actually, I'm not going to. There's no jokes about that one. It's bad. Yellow Car Supreme, $5 super chat. If Aaron Rodgers wins a second ring for Green Bay in Super Bowl, 56? Could the Browns succeed in a lucrative 2-year contract with him, or would the team?
If he wins the Super Bowl,
wait, hold on, talk. I want him to think about what he just said. If Aaron Rodgers wins the Super Bowl, is he going to be like sitting there with his Lombardi and being like, you know where I want to go? Cleveland. No, man, he's not.
He wants to go to Pittsburgh, obviously.
No. If he wins the Super Bowl, he's probably retiring or just go run it out and have to and be like, well, Ben got that one thing, so I'm trying to get that same thing in Green Bay and just like have his last ride year in Green Bay. Look, man, Aaron Rodgers winning the Super Bowl would just depress two people on this show.
Yeah, he needs to go out in the same type of fashion that he went out last year, right? Which is a kind of like a baffling, like, what the hell happened here? Why'd you take the ball out of Rodgers' hands late in the game?
Yeah. If he was Super Bowl, he's staying Green Bay.
He probably. I would say I would say right now, based on the comments, because he was on the Manning cast last night. He was asked about the whole scene between him and Tomlin. I would say listening to him more and more and how that team is playing, I'm leaning more and more towards him staying no matter what.
Yeah. I agree.
Dog Pound Backer, $2 super chat says, late due to work. Riding this with you, Q. # Go Browns.
Thank you.
Appreciate everybody coming through tonight. And we got another super chat here from Tim, $5. The most competent thing the Browns did all year was to give the Rams a weapon with which to beat a division opponent.
You tweeted that. Yeah.
I was like, man, Odell scored his first touchdown for the Browns on the Rams. You know what I mean? Like it was a beautiful moment that he finally did something for the Cleveland Browns.
He has 5 touchdowns in 6 games for the Rams.
Yeah. I wonder how many touchdowns Baker Mayfield has had to wide receivers in the last 5 games.
Too Many Clamps, $5 super chat says, Lamar is building up a frumpy dump for next season's miracles. You know, it's okay. Here's the thing about Lamar. It's like we talk about Jameis Winston pre-LASIK, post-LASIK, right? It's like, imagine if Lamar actually does get diagnosed with IBS this offseason and can get treated for it, and then he doesn't have to he doesn't have to leave games all year with his stomach issues. Like, imagine a world
you
like
go there. You went
Lamar
there.
Post IBS diagnosis.
You don't want to see everybody joke about the Pookie scoot until they get Pookie scooted. All right, I'm just saying, let that man go on the toilet. Let him stay on the toilet as long as he wants, because you don't want nothing to do with him when Lamar Jackson feel like he lost 10 pounds in 2 minutes. You don't want anything to do with that.
Ray Rags, $5 super chat says, at this point, Chubb having less than 80 less carries than Mixon and Harris is really making me mad. The fact it's much less than them is ridiculous. Doesn't some of that have to do with he sat out games?
He's missed a bunch of games.
Yeah, he sat out games. Yeah,
he missed a bunch of games.
Yeah. But last night was egregious. Last night was I think that was, I don't know. I would not say it was intentional, but it certainly felt like it was intentional.
I loved it.
You said it throughout the show, right? That like some people on that team may not like Baker Mayfield, and this team may be better. I think one of those people who doesn't like Baker Mayfield very much, his name is Kevin. And I don't think he's a big fan anymore. All right, JD, another $2 super chat. Bengals will win their first playoff game since 1988. I forgot about that. Yeah,
1991.
I think so. Yeah, 91.
1991. Oh, that's been.
They will have been. Yeah, they would have been the last team in the North to have they will reset the entire North who won a playoff game last in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh will be the last one.
2016
last time Steelers won a playoff game?
So Pittsburgh will be at the bottom of that. Alexander,
$5 super chat says, but by the way, that 2016 was an AFC championship game. So the Steelers have also made it the furthest of anyone since 2016.
Of course, you have to bring that.
I just wanted to point that out.
Bengal fans, let them know. Until now,
you guys were saying, you guys are saying you don't remember a lot of Steeler history. I'm trying to, hey,
I need to remember. I need to forget.
Yeah, we know.
Alexander, $5 super chat. A's been trying to tell us about the Bengals team this whole season. Congrats on the division win. Hopeful the Browns can challenge you next year.
I gotta commend Ace, because for half of this year, nobody trying to hear that shit about the Bengals.
half the entire year.
The whole offseason. And then like until week 12, what nobody try to hear this shit.
It is.
He kept going. He was right.
No, and it does. There was one part of this game, that 2008 America's game. Troy Polamalu talks about the Joe Flacco drive, right? He talks about what a great story it would be if Joe Flacco in that AFC Championship game back in 2008 had driven down in Heinz Field and as a rookie beaten this Steeler team and gone on to win the AFC and gone to the Super Bowl, right? And I've always wondered with Troy, like, you're a Steeler. How can you think what a great story it would be if Joe Flacco, were to go down and win? But I have to say, in watching that Bengals game on Sunday, and I forget when it was. I think it was after Jamar's second touchdown, or maybe it was the 3rd and 27 conversion. But there was a moment where it kind of hit me of like, holy crap, the Bengals are going to win this game. They're going to do it they're going to win this game in Cincinnati against the best team in the AFC, and they're going to win the AFC North. They're going to do it in spectacular fashion. A fan base that has been all in on this team all year and has been just kind of shouting from the rooftops. No matter how many people were like, no, you're wrong. No, you're wrong. Like, this team to come through in this moment, even I as a Steeler fan who was cheering against them the entire game, selfishly because I needed the Bengals to lose. Like, even I in that moment, like, appreciated what just happened, right? The fact that they did it in front of their home crowd, that everybody got to enjoy it there. It was
Dog, when I switched back on Sunday Ticket after watching the Ravens lose that game barely, and I saw Joe Burrow ain't had no name on the back of his jersey, I was like, "Oh shit, this is one of them games. This is one of those moments."
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it was, man. I mean, it is certainly. I'm not going to speak for Bengals fans, but I'm sure that they'll never forget that. I mean, that was like iconic.
We still not caught up with Super Chat.
That game has a name.
Sonny, it is currently set. We are 10 minutes behind still. So,
not that bad. Not that bad.
Strap in. Robert, $5 super chat. Does last week's game hurt the Browns' chances of signing a big name free agents? And does the Bengals help them with the 4th most cap space? Who day?
Does last week's game hurt the Browns' chances of signing a big name free agent? Perception is a problem with Cleveland, so that's gonna be an issue. This year, I don't think they're really going after big name free agents, right? I think that was the last 2 off seasons where they went after that. This year is gonna be about getting those mid-level guys, and it's gonna be harder to get those guys under favorable deals now. But I don't think it hurts that much offensively. Look, the difficulty of getting offensive players on this roster, again, when we talk about perception, is who's going to be the quarterback, right? Because if it's going to be Baker Mayfield, the perception is not positive there among the NFL. If it's somebody else who there's a more positive reception of, like, let's just say, for example, it's Russell Wilson, yeah, you'll have a better time. But, it's going to be about perception, what people are thinking going in, who they can retain. It seems like Clowney wants to come back, so I'm all for that. If you can get him under a reasonable number. He's had his best year in like years. I think he's at 7 or 8 sacks.
Yeah, no.
As far as is this helping the Bengals? I mean, you hear Mike Hilton say this. I mean, he screams it from the rooftops, right? Like why he went from Pittsburgh to Cincinnati. He said, like, look, I played against Joe Burrow one time, and I was like, yep, I want to go there, play for that team. So for sure, Cincinnati's going to be a destination.
That actually happened when we drafted the guy. Like, there's no coincidence that guys like DJ Reader, I think they asked DJ Reader, and he was like, look, I can either play with Joe Burrow or Drew Lock. I'm going where Joe Burrow is going.
Yeah. It ain't gonna matter. Ain't got no indoor facility no more. Them jokers dead, bro.
Ray Rags 14, $5 super chat says Q. According to Brad, Landry wants to stay in Cleveland long term.
What's hilarious? That news comes out right after Baker Mayfield announces that he won't be playing in the final game.
Hey, remember that Landry interview where he was like, I don't know why I'm not getting the ball.
Gee, I wonder if there was a correlation between the two. Shout out to Landry, man.
Brian, $5 super chat says, I don't know how long y'all been doing this podcast, but this has been a great year to have discovered it, becoming one of my favorite podcasts. Who day?
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, Brian.
That, bro.
We'll be here all postseason and
Off-season.
into draft season, free agency,
all night as well.
Literally for me, next day.
Yeah, we've been doing this for 2 hours, and we are.
It's 12:30 over here.
We're almost caught up.
Yeah, we're almost caught up. Ray Rags, $5 super chat. Doug Deacon is retiring this year now. This week keeps getting worse for Browns fans.
That's the Browns color guy on the radio broadcast. Okay. Look, I'm no disrespect to Doug Deacon, but anybody who's familiar with the Browns color the radio broadcast knows that Doug Deacon gets carried thoroughly in that broadcast. You know what I mean? It's Jim Donovan doing a lot of work, and then Doug Deacon, he goes, "Oh man, Nick Chubb, what a run!" And then Jim Donovan talks for like 5 more minutes. So, I'm happy that he's had a long career there in Cleveland, but I think that radio broadcast is going to be in fine shape. Jim Donovan's one of the best of all time.
The Deke Dog, $5 super chat here, says, Quincy, does Najee Harris trucking and dragging JOK all night scare you that maybe the Browns drafted a safety to the wrong position?
No. Are you serious? That didn't happen. He threw MJ Stewart. He did not throw JOK in that game.
He was running through people. Najee was running through anybody. Anybody who touched him, running right through him.
And I think that had more to do with the fact that the Steelers wanted to win that game and the Browns wanted to end the fucking season.
Check please.
And especially once they got to the fourth quarter and it was evident that this offense had absolutely nothing to offer you in terms of points. Yeah, man. Like that last drive where they let Najee just score, they were like, yeah, bro, just I don't want to see the offense come out here with the chance to do anything no more. Just end it, bro.
The game started with I think it might have been the same player. It might have been Austin Hooper dropping 2 passes, but
it was Austin Hooper dropping.
Yeah, it just you could just tell early on, this team's not there. This team their head is not in this game at all.
Yeah, it was like 5 drops.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Baker just didn't. It was just they were done.
We may be caught up. This may be the last one. Kodak 655 $5 super chat says, speaking of free agents, Sonny, who do you see coming to the Ravens as free agents this offseason?
So
besides Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters and Jake.
I don't think the Ravens will have this huge problem attracting free agency because I think teams will see injuries suck this year for the Ravens. This is not a bad team. During the season, the Ravens tried trading for Howard, the corner from Miami. It'll be interesting to see if they make a play for them, thinking, okay, we're going to just load up on corners and just to match the Bengals, right? Receivers. So that'll be interesting. I think they need help on the D lineman. I would like to see Campbell coming back, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. And O-line. O-line is the other position. The other thing is health, right? I mean, it is what it is. That's something that you cannot predict. They were all young guys. Nobody with injury history. They got injury. Stanley is one big guy. 2 years in a row. So we'll see. This one was an ankle. Mm-hmm. I think, he was trying to play through week 1 when he got hurt. And they decided to put it down for the year. So we'll see how he comes next year. I think that will be the key. Because not having Stanley is huge. If you have Stanley back playing similar to what he used to play, then your O-line can get fixed real quick. If not, then you have a problem.
All right, real quick, while we have a break within the super chats, I just want to ask Andy Reid and that Kansas City Chiefs team, why in the world did y'all just not let Joe Burrow score when they was trying to score at the end of that game? What in the world were you thinking? We gonna stop them at the half yard? You ain't stop them all game. Just let them score and then just try to.
But they weren't trying to score. I mean, the Bengals weren't trying to score.
They weren't trying to. They were putting Joe it wasn't like
they could have let Joe Mixon score on that one play though.
They could have. Well, when Joe Burrow dove over the pile, you could have just threw him over and let him. They weren't putting the ball away enough to not let them score. It was just why are you trying to play defense right now? Let them score.
It was a weird sequence.
And then I thought they the Bengals had 2 minutes left when they got to the 1 yard line, on the goal line, to score, and they let the Bengals run out the clock. Because they caught themselves trying to play defense there. And I'm like, why in the world would you do that? Why would you bet on your defense and not bet that Patrick Mahomes could tie the game up? Good for the Bengals that they didn't do that, but I don't know if that changes the math, honestly. I'm not saying, the Chiefs win that game if they do it. It's just weird that they didn't do what I felt like would give them the best chance to win that game. Yeah. And that was just mismanagement right there. I think they got caught up in whatever they thought was going to happen on that goal line thing. It just they got played. Well, not played in the way it's they got played by somebody. They played themselves.
Yeah. I thought what was interesting, Zach Taylor started the game, I thought, way too conservative. There was the Jamar Chase first down that got called back, reversed or whatever, to 4th and 1. And I remember thinking okay, they I know they're in their own territory, but they got to go here. I mean, this is 4 minutes, it's inches to go in this situation. And when Zach punted, I thought, he's going to be a little too conservative in this moment. doesn't want to get blown out, that type of deal. Right. And I don't know what changed for him. I mean, how do you explain going from that moment and then just like boom, ultra aggressive at the end of the game?
Ultra aggressive. I think he just realized like this is the Chiefs, man. You're playing against Pat Mahomes. You got to go for it in your own territory, whatever. Because especially with how that offense hums, I think that he just decided to get aggressive, and then he kind of went back to the conservative route there at the end. So I think he kind of has to play with balance. With Marvin Lewis, it was just always conservative. Like Marvin Lewis was just straight, I'm not going for it. That's not what we do. And that's the difference, I think, between him and Zach. But I think Zach tries to balance it out between the two.
And Q, like you said, I was shocked at the end of the game that the Chiefs didn't let them score.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, and it would be one thing if like you tried to let them score and the Bengals refused to let you score. It was like you didn't even try to let them score for them to not like you didn't get one of those weird situations. I was like, what are they doing? They not realize it was 2022. Like this is not how we do this in the NFL nowadays.
But I mean, like, again, and we go back to this, like, credit to the Bengals for being in that. I mean, they were it was the Bengals at the 1 yard line against the Kansas City Chiefs with a chance to win the AFC North at the end of that football game. I mean, I get that.
I mean, that 3rd and 27 won them the game. Like, I don't care what happens for the rest of the game. You can bitch about calls or whatever it is. Once you get 3rd and 27, you deserve to win the game. Like, and the Bengals, like at the end of the day, they deserve to win the game. They played better. They were the better team in that game. So, like, I know people are complaining about calls or saying the refs helped them win the game or whatever. Nah, it's salt. They deserve to win that game.
The 30-27, the 30-27 was impressive, but I had to rewind. The 72-yarder.
The 72-yarder was crazy, bro. There were so many people around him, and then he just takes off and like all. And
he outruns literally every single player around him. He outruns every single one of them. Guys who had better angles on him, gone. I mean, just gone.
Yeah, the funny thing is, people joke about Lamar with the running back thing. Chase is really built like a running back. Like he's literally a receiver built like a running back, and he is hard to bring down an upper body strength.
Yeah,
he's an amazing player.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
That play was insane, though, Tony. Yeah, it was. I was just like, what? Well,
he's just mossing every guy. I mean, like the fact that they never rolled coverage his way. It was just. I mean, he mossed every guy. It was an incredible performance. All right, Jimmy here. $5 super chat says Stefanski wants number 6 dead. Hudson looked like a peewee tackle out there. Chubb has sore ribs and was out for like 15 snaps. Number 6 is broken all over.
But Nick Chubb on that sideline looked like he had to watch his friend get jumped. like, that's what he looked like.
It was
when he was in that little raincoat, just standing there watching Baker Mayfield do Baker Mayfield things, which was not pretty. I mean, look, James Hudson did not look good. Nobody expected James Hudson to look good in his rookie year, 1-on-1 with TJ Watt. Like, nobody thought that was going to happen. I thought they were going to switch wheels over there to the right side if they really needed it and put Batonio at left tackle. But nah, man, I would say it's fair that I think Baker feels like he was left out there to die. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I know that him not playing this week and it being announced on a Tuesday before they even have practice or time to talk to team doctors just tells me they both don't want nothing to do with each other for much longer.
It was almost like Stefanski wanted Baker to get hit on every play, but then when he realized that TJ was going to break the record, he's like, all right, we got to start. Because that last drive, they were chipping and that's 3 guys on him. And
it's like when your dad, like when you telling your dad you ready for something, I'm ready to like, move up a level or beat you at this video game. And your dad's like, all right, he go full ruthless mode on the video game with you and just beat you by like 6. That's just what it felt like. He was like, oh, you think you ready? He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready to go and empty the whole game and carry the team. He was not ready. That was very ugly. He had 6 batted passes. He came so predictable that TJ Watt forego the sack in a game where he could have legitimately tied the sack record just to block your pass and talk all kind of junk. Like TJ Watt has Baker Mayfield's name like etched somewhere because he owns him now. Like Baker Mayfield cleat got TJ Watt written on the bottom of it like Woody from Toy Story.
TJ sacked Baker 4 times, and none of them were as disrespectful as when he sat back, watched Baker.
That was so disrespectful.
It was unbelievable.
It is even more disrespectful that it worked.
So good. So good. And he points at him like, I know where you're going with the ball, you moron. All right. Oh, Zim's in the chat. $2 super chat here from Zim. Stop the excuses, Sonny. We don't care. Trust me.
Okay. I'm pretty sure he just popped in and said that.
Can I have a word here?
Sonny.
Can I have a word here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sim, you guys won the division. I said, I don't know, week 12, week 15, you should win the division. I don't run for any of my takes. I don't make beef with other people, so you don't have to go back to your old takes. Yeah, you guys are on a high. Good for you. You guys won the division. Good for you, man. I will say this. I'm proud of my team. Team fought, even with all the adversity. I'm not making excuses. I think injuries, you can check. I mean, you can read them. I think they're documented somewhere in the internet. You can check the internet. But I'm not running, man. Never run. When you tag me on Twitter, I respond to you. When you start making shit up, I start ignoring you, as you like to do. I'm here. If you want me in the whatever it is, orange is the new black, whatever, I'll be there, man. I don't run for anybody. I'm here. I am here. And like I said, I've seen your takes. Sometimes you have horrible takes, and then you start making beef with somebody else, so you don't have to answer to your old takes. That's fine. It's okay, man. Your team won. Good for you. Bengals played great. Bengals deserve the division. It's all good, man. I'm here.
All right. Luke, $5 super chat says, Joe Hayden helping TJ pad his stats is the ultimate teammate move. I did like that. A late PI call for no reason whatsoever on 4th down. Extends the drive, gives TJ more shots at the record. By that point, though, they
took TJ out the game, though. I was surprised because
he's got the cracked rib. He's got the cracked rib. People forget about that. He's playing through a cracked rib.
What was he gonna get injured in that game? Nobody was touching him.
The right tackle said, like,
yeah, James Hudson.
What's James Hudson gonna do to his rib?
There was the play where Tuska came in and basically pulled the TJ.
No, they had third stringers coming in there eating our tackle. Like it was.
Yeah. When Tuska had,
they could have brought Jason Worlds out of retirement and he would have eaten our tackle.
I forgot about Jason Worlds. Good player. Tim, $10 super chat. Don't I remember Ace repeatedly calling for Taylor's head last season? More than repeatedly, actually. So proud of my Ravens with all the adversity next year, baby.
Yes, you are very, very correct in that. And I admitted that I was wrong. I think from the get-go of this season, I mean, to be honest, I think that Bengals fans, we kind of got used to Marvin Lewis and, essentially being competitive in the division. We weren't really used to the whole, when you do a rebuild, it takes time. And I had to learn that lesson. Of course, I was frustrated because you talk about 2015 until now, we weren't making the playoffs. I was frustrated, and I was wrong about Zach Taylor, and I've admitted that on this show plenty of times. But I will also say some Ravens fans about that offensive coordinator, that has happened as well. I mean, when everybody gets mad on this show about their coach, about their team, it starts with the coach. But, yeah, I'm glad to be wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong. I'm glad with what Zach Taylor has done this season. I was wrong. I'll eat the crow on that for sure. And I'm glad that he's my coach now.
Well, and let's not do this whole thing where just because you had a negative opinion about somebody means you married to that opinion for the rest of your life. It's like when Zach Taylor people talk about firing Zach Taylor, it's because Zach Taylor was out here leaving Michael Jordan in singled up and stuff and allowing Joe Burrow to get hurt. Like there were reasons people did not like the job that Zach Taylor was doing last year. It wasn't like he was out there doing great coaching. He made it.
I was upset that he would not fire the offensive line coach because they had from what I heard, Jim Turner gave him his first starting coaching, so he wouldn't fire him, and that was.
He ran a lot of vets out of town too. Remember, the whole Dunlap thing.
The whole Geno Smith.
Dunlap,
people forget about all that stuff, the Geno Atkins stuff, and you had to get rid of Carlos Dunlap and all. We forget about all that, given time and grace. But when he was saying that, it was completely justified. It wasn't like he was the only one saying fire Zach Taylor. I'm pretty sure
there were people saying fire Zach this year, and I had to talk
with people. Not even on the Bengals telling y'all to fire Zach Taylor. It was not. some rare opinion, y'all. Like it was a pretty commonly held belief.
Most of the people coming to this channel, Bengals fans, were saying, "Yo, we need to fire Zach Taylor, Lou, Arumo."
Oh yeah, last year the chat was filled with fire Zach stuff. Yeah.
Steelers Nation, don't spam, man, don't spam it.
Ray Rags, $5 super chat says, after that game, if any other team keeps playing one-on-one against Chase, this is the performance you're going to get put up against.
It wasn't even like they were leaving it up like L'Jarius Sneed one-on-one with Chase. They were putting up anybody one-on-one with Jamar Chase. And I was just like, wow, this is how they want to live.
The craziest one was when the guy did the gritty after breaking up the pass, and then Chase literally mosses him and gritties on him like right after that.
That was Sneed. That was L'Jarius Sneed that did that. Yeah.
The worst one was, and I don't know how does Daniel Sorensen still have a job? Dude, Daniel Sorensen is terrible, and it was a cover 2, and he just completely bites on some dagger concept, and then boom, Jamar Chase down the sideline. That's the one where he was gone. I mean, he had no one.
Cover 2 was getting ate up at the beginning of the season, and then once the Chiefs started to have the Chiefs defense had this string of good games, people just forgot about that. Like they were like, really bad.
Not Ben, we're good now.
I just don't understand how a team with both Tyrann Mathieu and Juan Thornhill are out there playing, like are giving Daniel Sorensen legitimate minutes. Like I'll never understand it, but that's the Chiefs defense. And I mean, credit to them. They've played well.
Yeah, I thought they were sitting quarters or something. Like that's normally what teams do, sitting quarters or cover 3 against the Bengals.
Luis Cousin here, $5 super chat. Congrats to Ace on the well-deserved division title. Do you guys think Baker comes back next year? If not, who will be the Browns quarterback? Nick Mullins? ?
Ooh.
Nah, it's not Nick Mullins, but thanks for the
this
congrats.
Nick Mullins. I'm gonna shoot.
I think the Browns are gonna go out there and try to get a guy. I think with Baker, like Q was saying, the writing's on the wall. Trade him and bring somebody else in, because I don't think you're gonna be missing Baker Mayfield after that performance.
Here's the thing, though: they couldn't trade Odell earlier this year.
Yeah, that was a bad thing. Yeah,
that's true.
So I don't. If you can't trade Odell, bro, I don't know if Baker has any trade value.
I don't think he does. I think
in this draft, I'm not saying that you can get a first. You probably can get him for like a 6 or 7, but in this draft, with this not being the greatest quarterback class, somebody's got to take at least a flyer on Baker Mayfield. Like maybe you get him out of there for a 6. I'd take a 6 for him.
Yeah, think about. I don't know how Winston's gonna be ready for the season. But you, Sean Payton, why not take a flight and let's say Winston and Baker let Baker out?
Well, here's the thing: if no one will trade for him, if Baker Mayfield is as big a problem as we're talking about, right, where the team doesn't like, the players don't like him, the coaches are fed up with him. I know you're going to eat $18 million, but it's better to not have that guy in the locker room than to have him there. Right?
Yeah, and that's the thing.
You just cut him.
They have already given him the Odell. Don't even come to the damn. This is the same thing they did with Odell before they cut him, right?
Yeah.
The Monday after a game, hey, don't even come to the facility. You don't got to play this week. Like this is the exact same thing. Once you get to this point, it becomes very hard to trade. Like it's not the exact same thing because it's like you knew Odell was absolutely out. We don't know for a fact if Baker's out, but it seems like it. And once it's at this point to where he's healthy and he's not playing and they're trying to hide it under him, like electing to get surgery. It's labrum surgery. He would have been healthy if he would have got it a week later for the start of next season. This seems like, hey man, we're going to move on.
Yeah.
All right. We're done with Super Chats. Do we have anything else we want to say on Bengals and Chiefs, or can let's move on?
We can move on.
Yeah. Let's move on here. Nation. Let's talk about Rams and Ravens. Sonny, this was a close one again. I mean, this is what the Ravens have done over these last couple of games, just lose heartbreakers. Another heartbreaker. Give me your thoughts on a Ravens loss.
Yeah, it's funny because I went to this game not even know what to expect. Right, Adafio was also out in this game. I mean, the list just keeps growing every week about people being out. I thought we had a chance, but they started playing well, or Matthew Stafford started playing bad. I think that was more what happened. I mean, Matthew Stafford's passes at the beginning of the game was like bad. That interception in double coverage that Clark got, I mean, that was a bad throw. And then the pick 6 wasn't great, but also Clark may break the play and had a hell of a pick for a pick 6. Huntley was okay. He definitely came down to earth. Not that I wanted to see that because I'm all in for Huntley's value to go up.
Trade value,
yeah, of course, of course. But as I tweeted, that Huntley Lamar conversation, who's better? Should we keep Huntley? Yeah. I never felt like this game was secure, even with the lead. Then we did not score the touchdown. I'm like, we're gonna lose. I told my wife, like, it's gonna be bad. They're coming and they're gonna score a touchdown because the defense had done as best as they could against that offense. So they were due a big drive for a touchdown. And as soon as they scored a touchdown, I'm like, even though we need a field goal, I was not in Huntley driving us 50 yards or whatever it was, 40 yards for Tucker to score that field goal. Like, I think Huntley did, again, as best as he could. Bateman showed up for a little bit. The guy that keeps surprising me, and Ace talked about him being in the neighborhood, is Mark Andrews. Because Q was talking about Ramsey. They put Ramsey on Mark Andrews a couple of times. Now, to be fair on Ramsey's not a guy that usually travels or goes in the slot to cover guys. Like that, Marlon does that a lot, right? Marlon does moves all over the field. But Mark Andrews keeps making plays. They keep making play. And Huntley missed him in that one play at the end and the third down. Mark Andrews ran a flat route. If Huntley just throws it forward or on the outside, he would have scored a touchdown, and we probably would have won that game. Huntley didn't see him. Huntley was, I guess, looking at another route first. And you know what? It is what it is. I think the team played well enough. I'm proud of the team. Sucks that it was a short. We fell short, but it is what it is. I think if Lamar's there, I think we win that game. With Huntley, you just made it close. Fun enough to watch, right? You didn't get blown out, but still now.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Quincy, your thoughts on Rams-Ravens?
I'm just about to talk shit about Matt Stafford for a couple of seconds. He's not good, guys. Like, I know there was a hot thing early in the year. I was arguing with people about it. Oh man, Matt Stafford, he's finally going to leave the Detroit Lions and he's going to become great because the Lions have held him back. And I think we need to acknowledge that Matt Stafford has been carried his entire career. You name a notable Matt Stafford year, it's either a career year for Cooper Kupp or Calvin Johnson. Now, I said it. He's been carried his entire career. He's Matt Stafford. He is a slight upgrade over Jared Goff at this point. And that makes me think that the Rams are going to do the exact same thing they did last year. They might win a playoff game, but they ain't no real contender. I walk away from that game thinking, man, it must suck to rely on Matt Stafford and watch the Browns trade for Matt Stafford.
Yeah. I was going to say that.
I talk myself into some damn Matt Stafford.
It was like the least surprising part of this game when it started, and it started with a Matt Stafford pick six, and they couldn't score, and he ends up turning the ball over 3 times. You're like, yeah, this is exactly
Didn't
what I
say before this game. Hey,
no, we did.
The Ravens shouldn't win this game, but Matt Stafford could throw you into it.
Yeah. My big takeaway, I won't be long here. My big takeaway from this one, like Sonny said, is I think this puts an end to the whole like Huntley versus Lamar stuff. Like Huntley's a good quarterback, and Huntley could probably go on to do some nice things. Potentially even become a starter in this league, I suppose. But let's not do the Lamar Huntley debate. Is
RIP.
Just nobody ever put on the cape for number 9 no more. Just take off that Matt Stafford cape and put it away. And don't tell nobody you ever had that cape on if you did have that cape on, because it's embarrassing. That Matt Stafford, you could talk about Matt Stafford being better than Baker Mayfield. If that's who you feel the need to compare him to, that tells you everything you need to know about Matthew Stafford and why that man ain't no real franchise quarterback like people tried to tell me he was.
Ace, your thoughts on Rams?
Allen
Ravens.
Robinson of quarterback.
I am taking a victory lap on that. Matt Stafford is not elite and was still going to be the same guy that he was in Detroit. And Detroit was not the only problem. But I will say this one did shock me. I actually rewatched this one this morning. I thought that the Ravens were going to win this game, especially once they entered the fourth quarter with that lead. And honestly, I feel like the only reason they didn't win that game, right, is because, like we said, we talked about Huntley. He kind of mismanaged that at the end, and Von Miller comes through with kind of the game-winning sack. I still thought that they were going to get, before that sack happened, into field goal range, at least for Justin Tucker to kind of take that one there at the end, especially with what we saw him do in the Detroit game. But I thought that the Ravens came out and were competitive. I think that they almost stole one. I remember seeing this while I was watching the Bengals game, and I was like, man, it looks like the Ravens could really pull the upset here against the Rams. And I think, like you guys said, it was because of Matt Stafford. But I think that this one, they did what they needed to do. They showed up, played in a close game against a team that nobody gave them a chance against. And I think they did a great job, even though they ended up getting the L.
Yeah. By the way, Sonny, group hug for losing 5 straight. I know that feel. I happen to know how it feels to go from dominant place in the division to
I forget that happened.
To not quite.
It happens.
It's not even fun.
It does. It happens. Hey, listen, you just chalk it up. That was weird.
It used to be fun to dunk on and be like, oh yeah, how did that see? It's just not even fun no more. The Browns took all the fun away from that.
You're welcome. Ben, $2 super chat here says that's what people said about Sam Darnold after week 3. Yeah, remember the cute little Sam Darnold rejuvenation, like Joe Brady, the whole Joe Brady.
Joe Brady, the quarterback whisperer.
Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold.
Joe Brady ends up getting fired, by the way. And then there's the report that David Tepper is the owner of the Panthers is embarrassed by the contract he gave to Matt Rule.
7-year, baby.
He should be embarrassed he gave that contract out in the first place. What in the world was he thinking, Matt Rule?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hire the dude from Baylor. That works. That's worked.
Yeah, and then trade for Sam Darnold. These are franchise.
But
you know what though?
And Cam, you my guy, but to resign Cam for $10 million, that's just.
We were talking about the Baker Mayfield stuff and how I find it hard for somebody to trade for him. I forgot somebody traded for Sam Darnold. You know what I mean? So did somebody trade for Josh Rosen one of them times?
I think so. The Dolphins.
Yeah, anything's possible when you get drafted in the first round and you're a quarterback. I forget.
But that was a third round pick. I actually thought Rosen for a third wasn't a terrible deal.
What was Sam Darnold? He was a second?
It was a second, I think.
They gave a second for Sam Darnold after all that tape.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think Baker's been in a bad enough situation though where you.
I think Baker will take a fourth. That's what I'm thinking. A fourth.
I could see a fourth. Yeah.
I don't know.
Sam Darnold was way worse than Baker, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, but see, Baker.
When you could talk yourself into the upside of Sam Darnold and it was Adam Gase.
It was
right?
Exactly.
With Baker Mayfield, you're like, he had Odell Jarvis.
Yeah, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Myles Garrett on
he
defense.
Had the number one offensive line in football. Yeah. He had Myles Garrett on the other side. There is no Jets argument you could make about that team. It's just
it's valid.
Yeah, it's like what else you gonna squeeze out that one? Almost made an inappropriate reference. I'm glad I stopped myself.
Andrew with a $5 super chat says, what are the chances that Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers ends up with either Pittsburgh or
Baltimore?
No, Baltimore.
Stop.
He meant Cleveland. He had to meant Cleveland. He meant Cleveland.
No, he spelled out Baltimore.
Yeah.
He spelled Baltimore.
Yeah. He didn't even put an abbreviation.
Okay. Not Baltimore. The chances of Pittsburgh, I think they're big because what Tony has said and Tomlin, right? Tomlin wants a veteran guy.
Yeah.
So I think Tomlin will love either or. Russell Wilson, the rumors are Russell Wilson legitimately is done with Seattle.
He's done. He's done.
He wants to leave.
He even said this is my last game in Seattle. This is my last game.
So that is a possibility. But he wants to go to a big city, though.
Yeah, the rumors are in New York.
He's definitely going to a big city. His wife, happy life. He's
New York's only a 6-hour drive from Cleveland. You could have her there and just see her. You gotta be COVID safe anyway. So ain't like you gonna be in New York City next year. So you know what I mean, Russ? Come here. I know you don't want to go to play for the Giants or the Jets. Come on now.
Yeah. Well, listen, if he does go to the Giants, Quincy, how do you feel about Daniel Jones to Cleveland?
Ooh, Danny Dimes. Wait, Tony, how do you feel about Danny Dimes?
I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't.
Because he's mobile.
You don't think, Sonny, I could talk myself into a bad quarterback? Listen.
Yeah. You
Where's the
forget
duck?
Tony talked himself into Ben Roethlisberger turning it into a play action bootleg quarterback before the
No,
season.
he talked himself about Duck. Remember about Duck?
Who are you talking about?
Do you see?
Oh,
Duck
Hodges.
No. The worst one.
Let's go.
He has a James Pierre shirt in there somewhere.
Yeah, where's the Pierre shirt at?
He hasn't been playing well since he brought that shirt out.
I gotta have them change it into a Killer Withers.
It's a curse. It's a Tony curse. First, it was the Ben Chef hat. Any props, anytime Tony brings out a prop, that's when they're.
It has not the props. My sketch comedy show has not resulted in quality play.
You should bring more. I'm all in.
You notice how it stopped. You notice how it's
the only one of us.
The Mac, the Canada.
The Canada hat. That was the last one. It was like, all right. I apologize. I did that to you, Matt. You're a good guy. And we have since cut it with. Yeah.
Ace the only one that got good luck with props. Everybody else has terrible luck with props.
That's true.
Sonny has a whole saga going on with one of his props.
The chain, the sunglasses, all of it.
Sunglasses, I lost those and I still regret losing those.
I told you, man. We found them, Sonny.
About 5 weeks ago, you lost it?
About
5 weeks ago.
Or Disney World.
About 5 weeks.
Ja with a $5 super chat says Matt Stafford has more pick sixes than Aaron Rodgers has for his entire career.
Yeah.
Not in the neighborhood. Not in
the same zip code.
Not in the same continent.
If Matt Stafford walks up on Aaron Rodgers' gate, he gets arrested for trespassing, right? Like, sir, there's no loitering here.
Country.
He's gonna get the Jeff from Fresh Prince. They're gonna throw him out.
Stopped in the airport.
Matt Stafford gonna get followed in the stores in Aaron Rodgers' neighborhoods because they know he don't live here. Like, nah, man.
Ray Rags, $5 super chat says, I tried to tell you, Q, the Browns never let us have fun.
I disagree. This is kind of funny. Like they have not given us fun as terms as like on the field product, but they have given us good humor this year.
The Browns, and we'll talk about this in a couple of weeks when we talk off-season stuff. But Browns, I think before the season started, were 5th in odds to win the Super Bowl, 2nd in the AFC, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Hopes were high.
Yeah.
Hopes were high.
Yeah.
We started Case Keenum in week 17, and it's not because we're waiting for the playoffs.
Parwan with a $2 super chat says Chase equals fraud had a year off.
I don't think a year off helps him.
Yeah. No, I don't even
Wait, is the argument that Chase is only good because he got a year off and that somehow that year is going to catch up with him later on?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought he was sarcastic, maybe.
Or are we saying that?
Or is he saying Chase Claypool?
Oh, well, if it's Chase Claypool, I mean,
Chase Claypool, that's valid.
If he's talking about Jamar Chase, because Jamar Chase is a fraud was a thing in the preseason when he was dropping all those passes. Then he had a good year, so it could be like Chase is a fraud. They took that's the whole.
Yeah, that's what I thought for a moment.
Yeah,
you're gonna need more details.
All right, let's move on here. Let's talk about my Pittsburgh Steelers, who beat the Cleveland Browns on Monday Night Football. What a game for sorry, Q. Look, this was a game that was obviously centered around Ben Roethlisberger and his retirement, his pending retirement. I mean, this was, it's so weird, and we'll talk about this more in the preview show. It is weird to me that this wasn't the last time I'll ever watch Ben Roethlisberger play a football game, because it certainly had finality to it. Look, I know that there are those who say that the Steelers bringing back Ben Roethlisberger this year was a mistake, right? That they cost themselves draft position or whatnot by bringing him back. And I'll say this, I think if you still think that today, you're probably not a Steeler fan, right? I think Steeler fans who watched last night's game and getting to see Ben kind of get that send off after what he's done for this organization for the last 18 years, not a single losing season in his entire career, 18 seasons without a losing season amongst them, 8 division titles, which is more than any other team in the AFC North among that stretch, 3 Super Bowl appearances, which is more than any other franchise in the AFC North, 2 Lombardi trophies. Again, he got the send off he deserved, and avenging that loss to the Browns and then being able to literally walk off into the sunset. Everything after Minka recovers the onside kick, I had people tweeting me last night because I always do the joke about the NFL script writers, right? I had a couple people tweeting me last night, Tony, this literally was scripted. And you know what? It may be, because I'll tell you what, it was literally like watching a movie. The Najee touchdown run to seal the win. Norwood gets the interception to give Ben the final curtain call as Heinz Field is chanting, "Thank you, Ben," as he takes his final kneel down in Heinz Field. And then, everything after the game of Ben taking the moment, doing the high five around as he's, we get one more Ben Roethlisberger on the bench, cameras surrounding him, this time tears in his eyes, but for a very different reason. And then I thought, to end it off, literally the perfect shot is Ben Roethlisberger holding hands with his wife and kids as he walks into the Steeler locker room for one final time. It really, it is so strange to me that isn't the last time I'm going to watch Ben. That I'm going to watch him again next week. It feels like, you guys ever seen the show Breaking Bad?
Bench him.
Breaking Bad
lights came on in the club.
If they did bench Ben, honestly, I know this sounds weird, but if they did bench Ben and just say like, Ben, we're going to have that be it for you. I have finality to Ben Roethlisberger's career now. I know this is like Tony, a movie thing.
Tony, I have a question because you said all this shit is a work, right? That's what
you
told.
The Ravens were a work, but go ahead.
Can you imagine if they work it out so the Steelers squeak in the 7th seed?
I told you, big Trevor Lawrence guy. Big Trevor Lawrence guy.
I feel like that would ruin it. You know what I mean?
Well, he's not going back to Pittsburgh, so
it almost would. No, hold on.
Two more, and it's a playoff game. Nah, this is how this. He need to go. This is how it should go.
No. I agree. They should. I know this is a weird thing to say. I actually don't want the Steelers to make the playoffs because there are rarely like happy endings in sports, right? We imagine that our guy's going to go out like Peyton Manning, or is going to go out like Ray Lewis.
Don't go out like
Ray Lewis or Jerome Bettis or Peyton Manning, right? That's how we're going to go out. We're going to go out like John Elway. But most guys go out like Joe Montana did. Remember how Joe Montana left? Oh, he just lost a random playoff game to the Chiefs. Exactly. No one remembers how Joe Montana went out. How about Brett Favre? Yeah, he was on the Chiefs for 2 years. Yeah. Brett Favre winning just 5 games his last year with the Vikings at the end of his career. Dan Marino, and remember Dan Marino's last game, 62-7, where he threw just 95 yards against a second-year Jaguars team. Or how about Drew Brees last year? Right? Drew Brees' last game in the Superdome. Everybody remember that? The classic that was? No, they got their ass kicked by the Tampa Bay. They got their ass kicked by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like watching Ben go out this way, and he wasn't good. The thing about Ben last night is that while that game was about Ben Roethlisberger, it wasn't the classic Ben Roethlisberger. Like he's going to go out there and he's going to throw 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like
$125.
Ben threw the ball 45 times.
And
he threw the ball 45 times for 120. He is the first quarterback to ever win with a stat line that low, right? That poor. It's incredible. And what I thought was poetic about it though is it wasn't that, right? It wasn't Ben Roethlisberger putting this team on his back one final time. It was the opposite, right? It was Ben's on his way out. So it was the young guys, the next generation of Steelers, who put Ben on their back one time and said, "No, Ben, in your last chance, your last go, we got you." It was Najee Harris having his breakout performance. 188 yards for Najee Harris. I don't know if you guys read this stat. 181 of them after contact. 181.
He was beast mode.
It was unbelievable. And I thought he was hitting a rookie wall a couple weeks back. But this guy, everything you saw at Bama, I know people got on the Steelers about, hey, how can you take a running back like this when you're not going to rebuild your offensive line? And while it hasn't worked out perfectly for the Steelers this year, because they will likely miss the playoffs, I think Najee showed you, like, look, offensive line or not, I am capable of this. Obviously, he's going to be better with an offensive line than without. And the other guy who took over this game, obviously, we got to talk about TJ Watt. We've mentioned him before, but 4 sacks last night. He was an absolute beast. And I was on the Dogland podcast a week ago. They asked me, hey, Myles Garrett or TJ Watt, who do you like for Defensive Player of the Year down the stretch? And I told them, I said, down the stretch, I like Micah Parsons because Garrett's hurt with that groin or hammy or whatever it is, and Watt's got a broken rib or a cracked rib that he's playing through, and he's not the same guy. I mean, you watch him against the Chiefs, he's laboring out there. He's taking plays off. So for him to go out there and have that performance, 4 sacks in that way, and again, carry this team and carry Ben Roethlisberger over the finish line, and in doing so, going over 20 sacks and potentially putting himself in position against Baltimore next week to break the all-time record. I'm going to need Lamar to lay down for one, by the way, Brett Favre style next week. But it was literally the perfect send off. And we'll talk about this again on the preview show. It is going to be very strange for me to watch Ben again because it did feel like There was finality to his career. This was the way for him to go out in front of his home crowd, beating the Cleveland Browns, avenging that loss, and walking off into the sunset. But I want to get your guys' take on it. Quincy?
Tony, before you let us talk, who was your MVP of this game?
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt? Okay.
Yeah,
Q, who was your MVP?
For the Steelers or the Browns?
Whoever for the game. For the game.
Sonny's going to say Chase Claypool and make me mad. I can already tell. It's already coming.
He's going to say Chase.
He's going to say Chase.
Nothing.
Now,
yeah,
you know who,
exactly.
You know who I say? Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski
no,
is the MVP
love
of
his
this
work.
game.
Love his work.
He should have just ran it through that. How many times I said like they should run that A and B gap that the Steelers just cannot stop? Nah, let's make Baker's throw.
But they were going to empty a lot too. That's what
I'm saying.
Me. I was like, how are they even going to let them think you about the run? You just about to let them know.
They couldn't even play action. They didn't even play action just to threat the Steelers. Nah,
they did not do a single play action rollout in that game, did they?
No, I don't remember one of the stuff that I watched.
Well, remember Baker's so hurt, man. How could you have him roll out? He's got it the torn. How many places is that labrum torn in?
Oh yeah, it's so torn. You know, it's convenient too that news came out right when he started shitting the bed this year, right? So you know, then it was by his agent. Yeah, man. What are the takeaways from this game? Defensively, yeah, your defense is good. Like the defense is good. Miles has been off. Miles always kind of tapers away at the end of the year for whatever reason. It's usually an injury, suspension, something happens at the end of the year. He tapers off. It's unfortunate. He got COVID last year. So, you know, yeah, he tapered off. He chose the wrong game to taper off because somebody did not taper off in TJ Watt. TJ Watt teed off. Now, again, TJ Watt was double teamed, 2 times in that game I read? He was double teamed 2 times in that game.
I think it was more than that down the stretch. I think it was 2 times before the last drive. The last drive, they basically put 2 guys on him the entire time, but yeah.
Yeah, it didn't make no difference.
Yeah.
But you know, it's one of the most head-scratching games of football I've ever watched. Everybody can tell you going into that game, Pittsburgh is the leader in yards per carry given up. They have given up 200 yards in their last 7 games. Well, they have given up 200 yards in 4 of their last 7 games. You have one of the best running backs in football. The game plan seemed obvious, right? Run the ball, unless you get to 40 attempts and you still can't run the ball. Okay, then we'll try to throw it. But run the ball. You were never out of it, so you needed to run the ball. They decided from the get-go. They ran that one play that Spillane blew up, and they were like, nah, son, we gonna go in empty. And they went in empty the whole. In what world does Baker Mayfield throw the one, even in a good game, right, where you do have to throw the ball? We're like, hey, Baker's attempts got to be under 35. Mm-hmm. In what world are his attempts 45 in a game that's not a shootout and not a blowout? This game was never out of hand to the point where, hey, Baker got to throw the ball now until like the 4th quarter. And they decided to do that. Baffling. I just got to talk about this one possession real quick because it was one of the worst possessions I've ever seen in my life. It was right after a big stop. I think the Browns got like 2 sacks to take the Steelers out of scoring range, to get them out of field goal range. It was a big time stop. They get a good return. They get the ball like the 40, and they gave up a sack immediately on the first play, another sack on the second play. They run the ball for like -3 yards on 3rd down, and then they go to punt the ball, and they accrue 2 penalties while trying to punt the ball. And then the kicker, the punter, while punting the ball, kicks the ground and has a terrible punch and injures himself. One of the worst bad news Bears drives I have ever seen in my life. It's up there. That was a all-time bad one. And look, I know people still there are still people who exist. Hey, Baker got that labrum. That's the problem. It's the labrum. I'm tired of hearing about the goddamn labrum at this point. I don't care about the labrum. I've seen enough, right? And even if Baker somehow comes back, even though don't nobody want him back right now, like nobody in that locker room wants him back. It's obvious. Nobody wants him back. He don't even want to be back, because if he wanted to be back, he would do I'm going to finish this season for the guys in that locker room and for everybody that, right? The cliche football player, I love my locker room stuff. Nah, man, they like, you can stay home. You can stay home. What are we going to do with that? Nobody believes that this dude is a leader anymore. He's got to go somewhere else. Even if he's going to be good somewhere, he's got to go. Like this is he's run his course. He has absolutely run his course here. It's a wrap. I didn't think he would run his course like this, but apparently this must be bad behind the scenes. Like the practices must be trash because they don't believe in this man a lick worth anything right now. So I mean, I don't know what to tell you about this offense that I haven't said this year. I've been telling y'all this offense is not to be trusted. This offense is terrible. They cannot be trusted to be left home alone. And this was we leave them at home alone. We leave them a note, tell them what to do. There's pizza on the table. Literally just got to eat the pizza and you come home and the house is a wreck because they didn't eat the pizza and they decided they was going to cook for no reason. Food was on the table. That's all you had to do was run the ball. But they decided that they wanted Ben to go out like a G2. All right. And it's the Cleveland Browns way for Ben Roethlisberger to end his career versus the Cleveland Browns. I mean, honestly, I don't know why we had any doubt. I don't know why we went into this game using regular logic and talking about football matchups when we knew what was going to happen the second you said Ben's last game at Heinz Field versus the Cleveland Browns. Like a casual fan would have had an easier time predicting because they wouldn't have got lost in the weeds and the whole matchup stuff and what teams do well. They gonna go, oh, that's Ben versus the Browns in his last game. Yeah, he's gonna cook that. He's cooked that his entire career. He has like the best record versus a single team against the Browns, like of anybody of any team, like better than Tom Brady versus the Buffalo Bills is Ben Roethlisberger versus the Cleveland Browns. I don't know.
25-2-1, I believe, is the record there.
Yeah, it's a hell of a record, right? Yeah, I don't know how he got the one. Oh yeah, that was a tie. That was Myles Garrett got it. Yeah, that was a tie. Yeah. I know the 3 games. I can count the 3 games right here. Like Myles Garrett tie. There was the 2014 game where we lost Alex Mack in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's a Brian Hoyer game. It's Brian Hoyer game.
The Brian Hoyer game, and then there's the third. No, that was Mason Rudolph because he got smacked in the head with the helmet. Was it last year?
There's a playoff game, the other one.
Oh, yeah, the playoff game. They counted that in the regular season one? I thought it was only regular season ones that count.
Oh, no. Must have been the Thursday game in 08. Must have been the Thursday game.
Thursday game in 08. Or Thursday game was in 09.
6 or something? It was 09. Yeah, Thursday game in 09. One of the stupidest games. By the way, Bruce Arians gets all this credit for being a good coach now. He sucked as an offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh. And that game, you want to talk about going 5 wide? It's like 2 degrees. The Steelers are going 5 wide every freaking play in that Thursday game they lost to the Browns. Anyway. Ace.
Yeah. So just terrible stuff there. Browns awful. Browns offense awful. We're gonna have to change out a lot of people in there. Who knows what they're gonna do in the off season. I know one thing. This is the last time I get excited about a team that has Baker Mayfield at quarterback. I am burnt out on those 2 strikes. Hey, look, if I get the 3rd one, I'm a fool on that one. So I will not catch myself getting high hopes for another Baker Mayfield quarterback team long as I live, because I have been burnt enough.
No. All right, Ace, give me your thoughts on this game.
Well, I will say, if I kind of snitched on myself with that Ben Roethlisberger comment about him saving it. So I only watched the first half of this game. So I'm not going to lie and say that I watched the entirety of this game. But what I will say is, even though, there is a rivalry, there's a nasty rivalry between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, it is good to hear that Ben did kind of get a nice ride off into the sunset, especially with his family and stuff like that. That's actually one of the reasons that I kind of missed the second half of this game, spending it with my family, rewatching that Spider-Man No Way Home on bootleg, thanks to Cody, by the way. On bootleg, thanks to Cody. In this one, I think for the Browns, the Baker Mayfield stuff for me was just about how good that Browns team was, and I felt like that Browns team had the talent to definitely make a Super Bowl run. There's no reason to look at Browns fans and say that they shouldn't have made that run, especially on the talent that they had there. I've just been a part of a team with Andy Dalton and it's not like that they're the same player. It's just getting consistency from the quarterback position is the key, right? Especially when you want to make a run. And I will say this. Luckily, the Browns never put pen to paper on that. The Bengals, they made that mistake and gave Andy Dalton $100 million. The Browns are in a situation now where you threw him out there. I think, like you said, Quincy, you had Stefanski throw him out there and say, hey, let's let Baker throw 40 times a game and see what happens. And I think that, that just sends the message, I think, to the front office and to the fan base that he's not the guy and that you can move away from this one. But I think, like you said, too, seeing this game kind of lined up with it being in Pittsburgh, being against, Ben Roethlisberger, they were kind of building this one up to kind of be, and especially once the Browns were eliminated, this kind of was built up to be a game that the Browns really wouldn't fare well in these circumstances. I did think that they were going to start to come back there, but obviously Big Ben and the Steelers pulled it out there. It seems like a bunch of crazy stuff happened in the game. But obviously, TJ Watt went off. He definitely deserves the Defensive Player of the Year. But salute to Ben Roethlisberger. Even though my Ben Roethlisberger take aged like Pharrell, my Baker Mayfield take aged like Pharrell as well. Shout out to him. I mean, obviously a legend in this division. I tip my caps to him. He definitely was a legend. It's going to be weird next season in this division without seeing Ben Roethlisberger in that number 7 jersey walk onto that field. So shout out to Ben. I'm not going to be petty or anything. He's had a great career, obviously deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. So shout out to him. It is kind of a crazy, weird game. It's almost similar, just from looking at it from a stat standpoint, it almost reminds me of like Peyton Manning in like that Super Bowl where he like really didn't have a good game, but they still ended up winning the game. Shout out to Ben Roethlisberger. He's definitely a legend. And shout out to the Steelers Nation for not, laying down and just taking a bad season. And shout out to Mike Tomlin and what they're doing over there. But I do not wish you guys best of luck next year. You need to sign Mason Rudolph, keep him there, extend that. I think that's what you guys need
A-Rod,
to do.
With this, listen.
Tony, do they retire jerseys or
they do not. They do not.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta retire Ben's jersey.
They'll just never give it out again. They don't retire. I think they have
By
one
the
number
way,
retired, but they'll never give it out.
Baltimore, that's not either. Regular's number is not retired or at Reed's.
But they never give it out, right? They never give out.
Nobody used it. No.
Yeah. Same thing in Pittsburgh.
No
one gets 12.
You didn't get to catch the second half of that game. If you just want to catch up on what you missed on the Browns offensive side, just search TJ Watt defensive highlights week 17. You'll see everything you missed.
If you want to see some great Najee runs, you can just do that.
Najee was
I did see the Najee stiff arm, and I think I did see the Chubb stiff arm too. Yeah, and that's when
Not Najee.
All right, we got a ton of super chats to get to. But we're going to end the show on super chat. So I'm going to go to Sonny here for his take. But we just everyone who's written in, don't worry, we are going to read your super chats before the end.
Well,
Sonny, give me your thoughts.
The only thing I will say is this, because I was in Scotland this week, and other than the Ravens game, watching it full, I watched a little bit of both games. And I was surprised at Najee Harris. He was beast mode. Like I was like, damn. I haven't seen this Najee Harris that much, right? Like, legitimately, he was getting stopped behind the line of scrimmage. He was still making plays and getting the yards. And as I was watching some of this game, I think I watched like up to the first half. I mean, it was two bad quarterbacks and one good running back running, and the other game plan. Again, I was saying, what was the game plan for the Browns, right? This is why I put Stefanski as the MVP. Not only he did not run Nick Chubb, he didn't even threaten Nick Chubb's run with play action, right? That was shocking to me because I thought the defense for the Steelers was coming, let's stop the run, right? We're not great in the B gap, right? I've been saying this. We're not great in between the tackles stopping the run. We're going to make an effort because Nick Chubb is a beast. The Anders Johnson is also really good as a running back.
You would think they would run the ball opposite side of TJ Watt if they had James.
Well,
know what I mean?
That too, yeah.
They would try to like take him out the game somewhat and do something about that. But they were like, we got to see we got to give TJ a fair chance to win Defensive Player of the Year, guys.
Yeah. And so then they say, okay, let's go wide, empty backfield to make the defensive read a little bit easier. Obviously, they're passing the ball. So we can now plan accordingly. It was very odd. It was very strange. It almost looked like the Browns wanted to lose this game. Like they were like, well, let's try to win this weird way that we had not played like this all year. And if we win, we win. If not, whatever.
Yeah. I will say this, though. Look, Nick Chubb ends up with 58 yards, 32 of them on that long one, and then the other 26 on those 11. So, in some ways, and that's not me trying to defend Stefanski, because I'm with you guys. Run the ball every play. Against Keith Butler, the Steelers defensive coordinator, said it himself. If he was the opposing offensive coordinator, he would run the ball every play against the Steelers. And that is the right thing to do. But, I do want to give some credit to the Steelers defensive line. They got Montrevious Adams back at nose tackle. I thought he was big. I thought Spillane was good in run defense. I think the Steelers were just, they were more on their P's and Q's in this game, but, you only give the ball to Nick Chubb 12 times. You're limiting the chances of having
but
the big explosion.
Ernest Johnson, right? You don't have to only do it. Johnson has proven himself to be a good running back this year.
I would tell that to Peyton Manning, because I tell you what, every time Dearness Johnson was in the game and Nick Chubb was not, Peyton Manning lost his mind. Some of my favorite clips of it. He's like, can we get a report? Can we get a sideline report? Nick Chubb has to be hurt. This is Peyton Manning last night. Nick Chubb has to be hurt right now. I need to know if he's hurt. He was upset. He was upset. All right, Luis. Also, respect to Eli and Peyton for not saying anything bad about Ben last. Ben had some throws where it was just like, yep, this guy is playing in one of his last games. Yep.
I was tempted to watch the Eli and Manning broadcast just because I'm like, boy, it's going to be interesting to see them.
No, they were really respectful.
Nothing for 3 hours with because this was one of the worst quarterback games I've seen on national TV.
Oh, bad. It was real bad.
And it was like, there was nothing that made it happen. Normally, it's like, oh, it's like two backups playing, or it's like, oh, it's like a bad weather game.
Yeah.
No, these are two guys who have started for their team for multiple years, Ben for 18, that just went out there and were like, yo, we're going to put out a clunker of a QB match.
Yeah. And it obviously it would be great. It would be easy for Eli and Peyton to dunk on all those throws, but they were
they showcased their professionalism.
Yeah.
To not talk about that interception with Baker just missed David Njoku by like 20 times by like the whole football field.
Except Snoop. Snoop did not get the memo on that one. Snoop came on and just started roasting Matt Canada and Ben Roethlisberger for a segment, which was kind of cute. All right, Luis here, $2 super chat says Browns expectations equal failure. See 2019 and 2021.
Let's not forget, 95, the Browns had Super Bowl expectations, and that season ended in Baltimore.
Roger, $2 super chat says, if the Browns win the next game, is Keenum the best quarterback in the AFC North?
I will go with a no.
The best quarterback that plays in week 4, maybe in week 18, maybe, because Ben's playing. Lamar coming back. Are they gonna really waste Lamar?
I don't think they should play Lamar now, right?
I think they just probably gonna play Huntley.
They gotta go Huntley.
Lamar wants to play, but I think they're just gonna play Huntley.
Nah, man, you gonna put Huntley in, man.
Lamar Jackson's never beat Ben Roethlisberger before, so if he doesn't play,
oh yeah, he hasn't.
He literally will never have beaten Ben Roethlisberger in his entire career.
It's okay.
Another fun Steeler fact for you guys. Ray Rags, $5 super chat says Baker had a better QBR at 14.8 than Ben, 11.9.
Once we talk underneath 20, the numbers don't matter. Once you're under 20 QBR, you play pretty bad.
Ray Rags, who would you rather have? Quarterback rating, a quarterback with a quarterback rating of 14.8 or 11.9?
You know the term splitting hairs, that's splitting turds right there. It don't matter. They both stink. Like
46 attempts with 123 though is
well, I don't think Baker did that much better.
No, he didn't. No. 38 for 185. It was.
It was one of this is some
with
of the
9
worst
sacks.
shit I've ever seen.
38 passes, only 185 yards.
They almost
and 9 of them
combined.
sacked.
They combined for damn near 90 pass attempts and might have combined for maybe 300 yards.
Just
under
308, right?
308.
308 total.
3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Again.
Yeah.
Wow. 1-1 Blue, $5 super chat says top spot in the AFC is cursed. Every team that made it there lost the next week. Has any team lasted 2 weeks in the top spot?
The Bengals will.
Wait, the Bengals aren't in the top spot. Wait, who? Okay, so before the Titans, who was the Bill? Oh, the Bills. Yeah, the Bills were out. Then the Patriots were in there for a week.
The AFC, my bad.
I'm also gonna call BS on this. At the top spot in the AFC North is so cursed. Why haven't the Browns had these historically great wild card runs throughout their entire run if it's so cursed?
Yeah.
Ray Rags, another $5 super chat. Really appreciate the support tonight, Ray Rags. I blame you for that drive cue. You asked the stream for an over/under of 35 yards on that drive.
This makes it so much better. So before that drive that I described, one of the worst drives I've ever seen, where they lost like 60 yards in like of penalties. I was legit in the chat like, hey guys, this is a big drive here. Hey, over under 3 first downs, over under 35 total yards for this drive. You think we could do it? Do you think we could do it?
By the way, did somebody predict a booty beatdown in this game?
You did, yeah. So I blame you too, Sonny. We're not friends no more.
I appreciated that, Sonny, by the way. I really appreciated that. Came through. Man. Ben needed it. It's
terrible. Just in the last second too, the show was about to be over, then you had to do that. I remember that, Sonny. I remember that.
I know. Ace has to go, guys.
All right. Ace, congratulations again. Talk to you later this week.
All right, guys. Take care. See you.
Yep.
Take care. No.
And I'll move this. There we go. All right. Melly with a $5 super chat says Ace tried to warn y'all about Baker, but y'all didn't listen.
We didn't listen to Ace all year. We should have listened to Ace more. We was telling Ace, get out of here with that shit. But Ace
and Bengals
last, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm telling you, man.
AFC North Pack probably tastes extra tasty to Ace because of that.
Never saw it coming. All right. And especially, not only did I never see it coming, but like after they lost back-to-back games to the Browns and Jets.
Yeah, you thought it was done.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, nailed it. I mean, I had Bengals fans tweeting at me in that time period saying like, Tony, you've been so right about the Bengals all year. You're the only one I listen to. And I'm like, I'm a Steeler fan, dog. What are you talking about?
They the same ones talking about some
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now they're like, you moron.
L host ratio.
All right. Errol with a $10 super chat says Chase is doing at the wide receiver position what Jackson did at the quarterback position when he came into the league. It's hard to go that far because Lamar. Well, I mean, Lamar like, yeah, it's not Lamar didn't revolutionize the position because we had seen, athletic running quarterbacks before him, but he took it to another level.
I would say they're both
Jamar Chase is really good receiver.
I would say they're both reviving a type of player that hadn't been around for a while, right? Like before Lamar, there wasn't really somebody who was like him since like Mike Vick, who was like that dynamic of a threat as a runner and that good as a quarterback.
I'll go with you on that.
Yeah. Yep. And I think Jamar Chase is doing something where he's revitalized like a wide receiver that could truly carry a team. I mean, like, I don't want to get ahead of myself with him, but this is like some Jerry Rice, Randy Moss shit, where it's like, oh, like there's number one receivers, and then there's guys who you're scared to death of on third down.
Right.
And it don't matter where that third down is with Jamar Chase. You better have four or five guys on them.
It is interesting, when you have, because at the top, I guess at the top of the wide receiver class right now, you have guys like Tyreek Hill, right? Stephon Diggs was the leading receiver last year, or Devontae Adams. These are guys who are like great route runners, or in Hill's case, like super speedsters. But Chase is bringing a little more physicality back to that position, along with insane speed.
Yeah.
Last one.
Ben, $5 super chat says, I mean, the Browns knew they're out of the playoffs already with the Bengals winning and them losing to the Chargers and Raiders, who won their games.
Yeah, but man, show some damn pride. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the thing.
National TV.
It was Ben. I thought because it was Ben's. I mean, it's a division game in Hines. Ben's last game. I thought the Browns would play for pride in that way, no matter what.
I think some of the team tried to. I think the defense definitely came out and was trying to answer the call here. Yeah. I think they played real hard. They had some deficiencies while running the ball, and I think they got out physical at the point of attack a little bit more than I liked that they did.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they got off the field when they needed to. The offense just they're tired of playing. The offense is tired of playing with each other. It is evident they are sick of each other.
For sure. All right. That is going to do it for AFC North Talk this week. Thank you to everyone who's stuck around for the entire 3 hours. Hey, on your way out, do us a favor. Like the video down there. And also, if you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Subscribe to the channel. We're going to be live again later this week. And, of course, we'll be recapping everything about Week 18 next week. And then we'll be into the playoffs as the Bengals will be representing. The Bengals will be so far the only team representing the AFC North. Remains to be seen if and when Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars upset the Indianapolis Colts. We'll see about that on Sunday. Thank you all for watching, and we will be back later this week. Talk to you then.